Was out of. All right, welcome in 98.5 The Sports Hub. I'm Joe Murray. Welcome back, everybody. It is a Monday night, 7 o'clock here in the city of Boston. Where do we start? Well, I know there's a Red Sox game coming up, so I'm going to knock out some Red Sox stuff. And I do want to get into Patriots OTAs. We'll talk to Alex Barth later tonight. He was there. We'll talk with Brian Barrett. What's going on with the Red Sox, the Patriots, and the Ringer? What's happening with that? I'm kind of interested to know all those things. So we got in or out later on. We got the Musings as well. Phone number 617-779-0985. Join us on YouTube as well. You can join the chat, subscribe, and you can hang out with all our friends that are in chat. So I have two takes off the bat that I want to get into. Two takes off the bat. Number one, what a game yesterday by Garrett Crochet. I think it's worth mentioning that Crochet was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding yesterday. And, you know, my thoughts on this is right off the bat, I wanted to credit Alex Cora for letting him go longer. Right? Hasn't he always been pulling him when he's upset about it? They've been watching his innings. I know he's had the most innings. in Major League Baseball. But yesterday, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, had the 2 walks. 75 of his 112 pitches were for strikes. Now, he did give up the solo home run at one point, but another double-digit strikeout game for the second straight start. And his ERA is under 2. It's 1.98. But I wanted to just bring it up again. At 99 pitches, the team had someone warming and ready in the bullpen. But Crochet didn't get ready like his day was over. He made it look like he wanted to go back out there. I'm not sure what the communication was, but Crochet's day wasn't over when that inning ended. He hung out in the dugout. So I give him credit for that, and I want to credit Alex Cora for letting him go the 7 innings. What happened when he went back out there? He struck out the side, and it was filthy. And by the way, I say throw the gas, not the ass. There was some ass. Some big pig butt from Garrett Crochet on some of those. Each strikeout to strike out the side was on an off-speed pitch. I want to give him credit for that. He's the ace. He's been as advertised. He's been worth the trade. Garrett Crochet has been outstanding. So I want to start positive with the Red Sox tonight. Now, through the season, Garrett Crochet's had 13 starts, 82 innings. I mentioned the ERA of 1.98, 11 strikeouts per 9, just under 3 walks per outing, just under 1 home run almost per outing. But the opponent's batting average, 203 against Crochet. No pitcher in the big leagues. As I mentioned, more innings than Garrett Crochet. And striking out 101, walking only 28, that's good. The guy was highly advertised, right? They got their ace, they got the young pitcher, they gave him an extension. I thought the way that the team has been managing him was thinking about the future and not winning games. Say what you want about the Red Sox. You can make a big deal about it or not. They took 2 out of 3 against the Atlanta Braves this week. I thought the Braves were a good team. The Red Sox took 2 out of 3. Now, there are some things that bothered me. You can't have a great win on Friday and get shut out for the first time on Saturday. I'm glad they bounced back with their ace on the mound. I'm glad they're playing a team they should beat tonight to maybe start a win streak. Maybe. Winning multiple games in a row is good. Winning is good, and I don't know if that's what Alex Cora's main priority has been. I don't know. But yesterday, it was. Yesterday, he wanted the pitcher to go back out there, and he earned it. And he showed out. Cora deserves credit for that. Crochet obviously delivered. I hope they think about doing that again because it worked. Another thing. Rafael Devers continues to hit. He leads all of Major League hitters in RBI with 52. He leads all of hitters with walks, 47. And I saw this stat. I thought it was fantastic. The only player in the last 50 years to lead their league in RBI and walks. Aaron Judge did it twice, 02 and 24. David Ortiz did it back in 06. I have some David Ortiz notes coming up in a little bit. Will Clark did it in 88 and Mike Schmidt. That's pretty good. Also, another guy that I written off, had a good weekend. It was Trevor Story. He went deep. He had some big hits, played really good defense. They wouldn't have won this series this weekend without Trevor Story. But he's playing against a National League team. When I see that, I'm like, could a National League team be interested in him if they are looking to make moves? Speaking of making moves, we'll get to that in a second. It'd be nice for wins to mean something, Red Sox and Red Sox fans. A win on Friday, a loss on Saturday, Sunday with a win. What are they going to do tonight? This has been the theme of the Sox. They win one, they lose one. They win one. They're below 500. They're a mediocre team. I think now would be the time to start winning games. You want to be serious. You want people to take you serious. You have a serious ace. You have a serious hitter in your lineup. You have serious talent coming up. You have Bregman, seriously, coming back. It's time to start winning games. The league is starting to look at the Red Sox as how can they improve their team and what pieces do they have. The Padres are interested in Jarren Duran. Chapman now is interest around the league. They better start winning games or they're going to have to reset once again and trade off their current pieces. One other thing I wanted to mention. We'll get back to the Red Sox in a second here. I had a chance to work with my good friend Dan Livshatz yesterday. The Bankroll boys were reunited. We did a Sunday afternoon yesterday. Sunday morning, whatever it was. The conversation was about Drake May's struggles so far in camp. I've related many things. I've heard the words bumpy, uneven, etc. I don't think their wide receiving core is good outside of Stephon Diggs. I don't. I think there's a couple of players that can make plays. But for the most part, I don't think they're good. I think that's a reason why he's struggling. I think the offensive line's still adjusting. It's why he's struggling. I think it's fair that we mention that maybe one of the reasons why he's struggling is Josh McDaniels and his offense. And I'll tell you this, Skaz, because I'll get to you in a bit, Skaz, on this too, but I swear you could put Patriots fans on the stand as witnesses. And if you mention that Josh McDaniels has done nothing outside of being with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they will tell you you are a liar. They will tell you you don't know what you're talking about. You could bring up the facts of Denver, Rams, and Raiders. You could bring up the victory cigars when he got fired. You can bring up how he derailed quarterbacks' careers outside of New England. But, now that he's back, there's no way he could ruin the development of Drake May. There's no way. I can't have it. Today, we find out Drake May was good, 14 of 16. Starting to realize Josh McDaniels' offense. Josh McDaniels even spoke today. On this show, this season, if Drake May struggles, I will look at how poor some of the wide receivers are. I will look at the new coach. I will look at the offensive line and their struggles. But I will highlight Josh McDaniels' play calling, just like we did for Van Pelt, Bill O'Brien, Matt Patricia, because in fairness, to just say Josh McDaniels here and it's going to work, now that is suspect. Absolutely suspect. And I went back and forth yesterday, today, and I stand by it. If Drake May struggles, the first person you should look at is Josh McDaniels. I haven't dropped a suspect in a while. But there's nobody where the jury is out more than Josh McDaniels without Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Those two things on the table to start us off today. 617-779-0985. We're on YouTube as well. We're here all night. We'll listen to Skaz. We'll get his thoughts as well. Luke, our intern, is here tonight as well. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on The Sports Hub.
In case you needed to know the score and not go elsewhere for that, I'll just tell you. 1-0 right now. Angels in this one. I wanted to credit the Red Sox for the weekend they had. It wasn't all pretty. They got shut out for the first time all year long. But I thought Trevor Story came alive. I thought Rafael Devers is the best hitter on the team and acts like a leader in that capacity. But it would be nice for wins to mean something. And I think winning tonight would be a winning streak. You know, that's what I would do if I was the manager, Alex Cora. I would show the young players what a winning streak is. You know, winning 2 in a row, maybe 3 in a row, owning home fields, like stuff like that, you know. Those are the things I would work on. But I said this earlier, but Cora has been bad at leaving starters in the or taking them out of the games this season. Maybe this was just a one-off, but I want to see him do it more with Bayo. It's funny, whenever people talk to me about Brian Bayo, they always say, oh, well, Bayo hasn't been able to go into the 5th inning. Well, is that a Bayo problem, or does the staff not want him to go over 80 pitches? And, oh, what a booted ball at third base, huh? If they only had a guy that could play third base. Oh, by the way, did you see that guy messing around? Did you see that, Skaz? You see that third base?
They look good.
Did you see during batting practice today? Rafael Devers had a it said a mitt. I would call that a glove, not a mitt, please. Just to be correct, that's a glove. A mitt would be like a first baseman's mitt or catcher's mitt. Okay? But today, Rafael Devers, who again, I'm not going to get on. I'm not going to do it. Guy's hit 400 for the month of May. It's been absolutely outstanding. He's doing things right now. The numbers he has right now haven't been done since Miguel Cabrera back in 2014. The last Red Sox to hit like he is, home run like he is, RBI and walk like he is, was Nomar in 99. So, like, Devers at the plate, doing his thing. Leading by example, being a leader. Now, today in BP, he's playing shortstop, everybody. He had a glove with him. He was making throws to first base. So I can't sit here anymore and tell you maybe he can't throw to first. That was one of my defenses, guys. I was like, well, we don't know. His shoulder, you know. Rafael Devers was in the field during BP today. And we broke the story on Friday night that it was reported that the Red Sox are not going to use Rafael Devers in the field this season. It was also reported that it was Craig Breslow, once again, who went to Rafael Devers, and it's not Alex Cora, which I still don't understand. What's the value of Alex Cora if he can't talk to the players about moving positions? Is it because he already burned the bridge with him and trying to bring his boy Alex Bregman in? Was that it? David Ortiz had a take on the Red Sox. Quote, everybody has to come in and bring something to the table, you know? Like everybody wants to focus on Devers. Devers is doing what he's supposed to do, you know? The rest of the team, they need to collaborate. We need more Devers on the team. That from David Ortiz. From David Ortiz. They need more Devers on the team? From David Ortiz. I don't know anymore what to think about the Red Sox. But here's what I do know. When you win a game, you got to try to win the next one so you get a winning streak. Well, do you know what happened? It's the top of the first inning. And they just gave up a grand slam to Mike Trout. Was it a 3-run homer? Whatever it was, it's 5-0.
5-0, 0 outs.
He hit the ball to Caskin Flagging. Look at that thing. Oh, remember the offseason, Skaz? I was trying to make trades for Mike Trout. I'm like, you know, maybe you could just, like, do this. Anyways, is that Hunter? No, who is that? Dick Fitz? Dick has a lot of fits in the first inning, I'll tell you that much. Richard is struggling. tapped out. They're going to tap out, right? Do you think they're going
Richard.
to... Richard. Does he play for one of the Yankees? Do you think they're going to tap out now? It's the first inning. They haven't even had it at bat yet. It's 5-0.
They haven't recorded an out.
They got it out. What just happened the other night, right? With the Washington Nationals? Did you see that? The dude at the plate gave up 8 runs before recording it out. Once he got the out, oh, you heard. Oh, I want that cheer tonight, by the way. Once the Red Sox get their first out. I just tried to start positive, and look where it went. You just won a game with Garrett Crochet, your ace. Rafael Devers is hitting the ball everywhere. David Ortiz says they need more Devers on the team. Could there be an even more divide in Red Sox Nation right now? 5-0. You know what I blame, by the way? The error at third base. The guy Boots won at third base. This is why the discussion matters on Devers. Once again, David Ortiz will tell you, Devers is doing his job. It's the other guys that need to collaborate. They need more Devers. Well, there's a lot of guys on that team that are playing out of position, right? There's a lot of guys on that team that will play first, third, short, second. Oh, boy. This is happening live. He hit that one to New Dia, the Cannabis Lounge on Lansdowne. 7-0, 6-0. Is that 6?
Yeah, quick touchdown in the first.
6-0. 6. Yeah, if you haven't made it to the game, just go to Sweet Cheeks and get some barbecue and go home. Don't pay. Don't go. No. This is how they respond after winning 2 out of 3. After winning 2 out of 3 against the Braves. Poor Hunter Dobbins, right? Oh, no, it's Dick Fitz. Sorry. They look alike. Here comes Hunter Dobbins, probably now going to throw 6 innings out of the bullpen now. Poor Dick Fitz. Oh, we got it out. Woo! Yeah. 1 down, everybody. 1 out. Woo! 1. Make sure you tell everybody in the infield. 1 out. So the Royals are calling up their top prospect. Did you see that?
Yes, the Royals, they big market.
No.
They pay guys and keep them around for a long time usually.
They do not.
So they can call a guy up and waste a year of service time, but the Boston Red Sox, no, can't do that.
What's his name? Jack Cagliani?
Is he close? Something like that.
All right. Let's try it again.
Caglione?
Caglione?
Either way, he's a moose. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's
322, 15 dongs. 56 RBI in 50 games, huh? It's not bad. Does that make the Red Sox look bad?
I think the Red Sox do a pretty good job of making themselves look bad on a regular basis, tonight included. So I don't know if they need help, but it's certainly, I would say, not a good look for the Red Sox when the 30th or 28th, 29th, whatever it is, MLB market is calling up their top prospect and losing a year of service time. But you're the Boston Red Sox with all the money in baseball. You can't call up Roman Anthony while your team's floundering at 500. So yes, Joe, I do think it makes the Red Sox look bad.
Great. So Luke, our intern, has checked in and is telling us that was a 95-mile-per-hour fastball down the dead center of the plate. He threw the gas. He just got the ass. So it wasn't a grand slam. I don't know why I thought it was. I just thought it was.
Might as well have been, Joe.
Well, they're out of the inning, everybody.
Minimal damage. 6-0.
I would just like to state for the record one more time. When you win, right, the next day you want to try to win again because then they call that a winning streak.
It's a tough concept for some, but I'm following.
But what I'm trying to tell you is if there's 162 games and you win one, lose the next, win one, lose the next, then lose the next, then win one, you have to win the next one to have a winning streak. I mean, That's a pretty easy concept, right?
On paper. On paper.
But like, doesn't this tell you what's going on there? Like, winning isn't the most important thing. Garrett Crochet going 7 innings and helping his team win and then closing the door, it was good. It was a win.
Well, he certainly saved the bullpen for good reason because they're going to need him, Joe.
But, like, what does it matter today?
No, you got a rested bullpen.
If you're is that what? Oh no, you're gonna give me the positives now. Huh?
Yeah, we got a rested bullpen.
Well, I mean,
Joe.
yeah, you got a rested bullpen.
Ready to go 8 innings in this one.
Maybe you can. Maybe this guy Ty Anderson. What?
Ty Anderson on the mound.
Wait, what? Lefty Ty Anderson on the mound for the Angel. What is that hitch?
Man can do it all.
Look at this hitch in his throw. Looks like Drake May throwing a football, which I heard was good today. I heard it was good today. And we might have some news.
Yeah, a little update, Joe.
It's not breaking.
No.
But it's news.
Little update.
So we'll share that with you. Let's get to the headline here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Well, the Red Sox won yesterday. And in the first inning right now, they trail the Angels 6-0.
don't have any idea what that is, and you would hope that he doesn't either, but that's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. Mike Vrabel addressed this last week, saying he
simply have to fail his physical. I said all these things on Friday. Like, what happened here? Guys, we did this on Friday. So now, but Pro Football Talk writes an article over the weekend, and now it's like they said it? There is more contract details. If the team physician does fail Diggs, the Patriots owe him absolutely nothing financially. They can pull the plug if they want to. He does look great on film. I mentioned that last week. He looked good on film. So while the contract doesn't contain a clear answer, there are several provisions that could apply. First, paragraph 26 of the contract set forth by the signing bonus under paragraph 26A. Diggs gets $12 million, with $4 million paid within 2 weeks of execution. So he'll get $4 million. So he'll get that at the signing. He'll get $4 million on October 31st. Then he'll get another $4 million on March 31st of next year. Doesn't mean the Patriots can tear up the contract for any reason before Diggs passes his physical. It nevertheless provides an escape hatch if the doctor who is on the team's payroll never believes the knee was fully healed. So again, it's still alive, everybody. They're not going to, but it's still alive. The second paragraph focuses on the pre-existing condition of Diggs' knee. Wipes out the $10.6 million in guarantees beyond the $12 million of the signing bonus. So in the event that it's terminated due to pre-existing conditions or an injury or a medical condition or whatever, then they wouldn't have to pay him. The provision evaporates once he passes the physical mention in paragraph 26B, which makes the physical even more important, in which the Patriots give a window of pulling the plug if they so choose. So long story short, there's default language for $10.6 million in non-signing bonus guarantees, which the Patriots can get out of at any time. And where did they bring up? They bring up the old Antonio Brown contract. Right, because when the Patriots go to contracts, they know what happened with the Antonio Brown deal. They refused to pay his $9 million signing bonus, so they found a way out, and a grievance was made for $5 million. And they still owe him $4 million. Do you know that, guys? I didn't know that. I have Pro Football Talk. The Patriots settled the grievance with Brown for $5 million. They've only given him $1 million. That's going to be a slow payment, huh? This is what I mean. Stephon Diggs, the Patriots need him. We all know it. We all know it. But they hold the control of that signing bonus. The doctor, the team doctor, could fail that physical just to do it. So they don't have to pay him the money. So it's funny how the Cardi B video, the video on the boat comes out. The Cardi B video comes out. There was other guys around the league. They're like, hey, if you had a sister, which player on your team would you not want around her? And people say Stephon Diggs. That was hilarious.
That's an old Vikings video.
Oh, my God, that's so funny. So, guys, I don't care. Like me, again, I want the player on the field. I want him to do whatever he can to be on the field. I don't care what Stephon Diggs does. I don't care. I don't care.
He was on the field today, right?
He was there at OTAs, and then after last week when Vrabel said, I want the most or make the best decisions, he shot 8 videos and posted them all to Instagram. Then he posted an Instagram yesterday, and then today he said, nice to see y'all.
But if he was there running around today, he passed his physical, right?
No.
You think they let him run around without passing his physical?
He's not doing 11-on-11. I believe that you can do side workouts. I don't believe you can be on 11-11.
He looked pretty good to me, Joe.
Well, you know what's funny? Maybe during the break, I can. It's a Pro Football Talk article. I want to say there might have been a date in there regarding the physical. So yeah, to your point, if he's out there, did he pass the physical? There are some guys that don't. Kendrick Bourne didn't pass earlier on last year. He didn't pass until Halloween. But he was there. Guys, I talked to Kendrick Bourne in the locker room when he was passing through. So he was at OTA. He was at camp last year. He just couldn't physically practice in the 11-on-11s. But I thought that article mentioned something about a date of the physical. I'll scroll through. It's in that article. I did see it today. So yeah, maybe they got to wait till then. I mean, some of the talk is he'll be ready to go for week 1. I don't. All I can tell you is you heard it from Ian Rappaport. I was going to tell you first. I think this pretty much means that the boat thing and everything like that's behind him. And in a way, there are these people in the world, Skaz, that think everything happens for a reason. And that, sometimes things can be a good thing or a blessing in disguise or things to that degree. This Stephon Diggs boat thing that has happened before June 1st, well, Vrabel set the culture. He was gone for a couple of days. And when they came back on Monday after everything was said and done and all the talk about potentially cutting him and his contract and everything, he was there today. Now the report is they're moving forward with him. Maybe this was the moment they needed to do to get him back into team focus. And I love that Jalen Polk was attached to him by the hip. I don't know if Jalen Polk's a bust. I don't. Well, we'll talk to Barth about it later. I still think they can get something out of him. But, man, last year he was his worst enemy. His own worst enemy. So, again, he's attached to the hip to Stephon Diggs. Is that a good thing? I'm going to go with it being a good thing because it's on the football field. What's it going to be like off the football field? I do want to get into the Josh McDaniels stuff, too, because I think that there are people in this town, or Patriots fans, that can't have a healthy discussion about Josh McDaniels. I don't even know if we had a chance to read this last week, but Mike Reese, who's very close to the Crafts and a great reporter, love him. We had him on in the draft show. Reported last week that Mike Vrabel really wanted Thomas Brown on his staff. Now, I know that some people are saying that he really wanted Josh McDaniels too. How many people were knocking on the door for Josh McDaniels?
That would be none.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Lifshat said this yesterday. Remember when Ryan Day was going to get fired? Do you know who one of the names were to become the next head coach of Ohio State? It's Mike Vrabel. And do you know when they were thinking of their discussions? It wasn't Josh McDaniels that Mike Vrabel pitched as the offensive coordinator. Again, Lifshat's take on that one. But I believe him. Matt Patricia's there now. Think about that. Oh, my God. Matt Patricia's there. But can we have a healthy conversation about Josh McDaniels? He's highly decorated. Highly. With Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Don't give me Mac Jones. Don't give me Cam Newton because Bill Belichick was there. So all of your firing takes that you have that are weak, pull them aside. Can you keep it to just how he was without Brady and Belichick? It was really bad. Actually, to tell you the truth, with the Rams, it was the worst in the NFL, and it was the 16th worst offense of all time. And don't get me wrong. I'm going to make this one more time, guys. I'm going to say this one louder. Maybe people don't know this. They opened the season against who? What team? What team this year do the Patriots open the season against? The Raiders. The Raiders. Who?
Oh, Gino and Pete.
Yeah, but you know what, though? They hated Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, they were smoking victory cigars when he got fired.
The whole team lit up. The whole team. They won the next game. By the way, do you know that everybody that he worked with regressed? And when he left, everybody did better. Tim Tebow did better. Sam Bradford did better. Derek Carr did better.
How about the fact that they just straight up don't like him, and every story you hear was how much of a disaster it was?
Week 1. You mean to tell me Max Crosby doesn't know that they have a rookie tackle, an older tackle on the other side, and that Josh McDaniels is calling the plays? You mean to tell me they're not motivated for this? I'd be smoking cigars right now.
You don't think Pete wants to, beat the Patriots? Of course.
Pete wants that.
Brady? Tommy's involved too over there.
Yeah, but the Kraft thing. Kraft. You're right, Brady. Oh, yeah. Another layer there. Oh, week 1, baby. Oh, it's June 2nd. I'm already thinking of the storylines for week 1. Can the Patriots stop the the rushing game? Ashton Genty. Can they stop the rush? The more important thing will be this, everybody, though. Don't forget this one. Josh McDaniels is working with Drake May. You're going to tell me he was great with Mac and great with Cam Newton. That's all true. But Belichick ain't here no more. Brady ain't here no more. And quite frankly, like an old Tom Petty song, Josh McDaniels, don't come around here no more. I don't want him here either. The jury is out. The jury is out on Josh McDaniels. 617-779-0985. We're here till 11 o'clock tonight. I'm Joe Murray. You're listening to 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray.
grow that a little bit. Just go to youtube.com, find 98.5 The Sports Hub, click subscribe. Boom. You're right in there. So the NBA final is set. It is between the Indiana Pacers and Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be great ratings, let me tell you. I'm at least interested in the series. Just to give you some of the numbers, Oklahoma City opened at like minus 700. Money came in on the Pacers immediately. They're just, let's just call it plus 500. So it's a little bit below that, I think, 495, something like that. So as an analyst, I will tell you that I think the number opening up around minus 700 for Oklahoma City was a little high. That's why you saw the money come in on the Pacers. Now it's a little bit more respectable. I still see value with the Pacers, but just remember, they make lines to get money on both sides, and it might be a bit of a bait line. And what I mean by bait is hooked. You get hooked on a line because the juice is so high. You get excited. You think of a recency bias. Pacers just beat the Knicks. Thunder have been off for a couple of days. So, like, staring at the line and just eyeballing it, I think they might have baited people into the Pacers. The Thunder are one of the best regular season teams. They've been the best team in the NBA, and quite frankly, since 2025 started, January 1st, the Thunder were 1, Pacers were 2 as far as wins in the NBA. So I still think that the bigs of the Pacers can win the series. Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam. Chet Holmgren's a great player. He really is. Thin body, still can play in this league. Hartenstein they got from the New York Knicks this year. If you're looking at the rebounding edge, it's 100% Oklahoma City. Can the bigs of the Pacers win this series? I think Aaron Nesmith will be matched up on SGA. Can Jalen Williams have a big series for the Thunder? Will Tyrese Halliburton continue to ascend? Can Nembhard continue to play the way that he's doing? Can they get the same production off their bench from certain guys? The Thunder have a great young coach. It's 40 years old. Rick Carlisle's obviously been a great coach in this league. I think it's going to be a good series. As far as markets go, though, you got 2 low markets. I don't know how it's going to do ratings. I don't think it will do well. My betting analysis tells you that the line was high because they think the Thunder are going to roll. I think there's value in the Pacers. Now, I don't know if I would bet the plus 500 to win the series, but could Pacers in 6 or more? Could the series go 6? That's probably where I would go with it. I think this is a 6-game series. But the line being so high, once again, I think Vegas thinks the Thunder absolutely roll. We'll leave it there. We'll get back into that later on in the night. 617-779-0985. Let's get back to the Patriots, who had OTAs today. Oh, Drake May. How'd he do? We'll tell you next here on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Tell Your Type Studios, WBZ and HD1.
It's not just the games. It's Toucher and Hardy, Zolak and Bertrand, Felger and Maz, Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Paisley Media Group Station.
Sports Hub headlines. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox, 3rd inning, bottom of the 3rd right now. Angels lead 6-0. Tough inning for one Dick Fitz. 6 runs, a 3-run homer to Mike Trout. Some other guy hit a home run too. I don't know who he was. It's 6-0, and Hunter Dobbins is in the game. Patriots OTAs today. Drake May had a good day from what everybody wants to tell us. Stephon Diggs was there in the league. Well, actually, NFL Network is telling us that they're not going to release him. Ian Rappaport. Frank Ragnow, though, he doesn't want to play anymore. He's retiring. Stanley Cup starts Wednesday night between Edmonton and Florida. NBA Finals on Thursday, Thunder Pacers. Austin Ainge leaving the Celtics for Utah. Headlines, they are brought to you by John Sewer Drain Cleaning, 24-hour on-call service for your clogged drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. Joe Murray, your next update in 30 minutes.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
He been repeating any errors so far? Are there more?
Not many. Yeah, he does a really good job of listening to it, and then when you go out there the next time, and you see the same kind of look or the same problem that the defense presents to you that was presented previously, generally speaking, he's a quick study on that, and that's a good thing for a young.
Josh McDaniels, new offensive coordinator for the Patriots, working with Drake May. All the talk about Drake May's struggles early on, 4 interceptions one day, a little bumpy the next day. And I started looking at reasons of why. Number one, I think that the wide receiver group isn't great. I don't. I think that's why they need Stephon Diggs. But there is an adjustment period going on for him. He's on his second offensive coordinator. He really liked Alex Van Pelt, from what we know. So, does he miss him? Is it an adjustment? Are things a little bit different? I think they are. So this is what happened at practice today in 11 on 11s. Drake May went 14 of 16. Josh Dobbs went 11 of 13, so pretty consistent. Mark Daniels today had much better performance from Drake May in the offense, best we've seen. May had 2 nice deep passes to Kayshon Boutte and Ramondre Stevenson. Cool. So a better day for Drake May today. And we keep talking about expectations for year 2. I think Stephon Diggs being here will be huge for Drake May. I think it will be bigger than Josh McDaniels, Thomas Brown, the offensive line, whatever. He needs playmakers. He needs guys who can make plays. That's why he throws the ball to Hunter Henry so much. Makes plays. So you heard it here first, and this isn't a big flaming hot take, but I don't know. Stephon Diggs, I like that move more than Josh McDaniels. Like, how much more what's Josh McDaniels going to add? What different wrinkles is he going to add for Drake May? Now, one thing I will say that I like that Josh McDaniels does is he does use a fullback at times. And I do think that it's important for them to run the football. And I think it's something last year that Drake May really didn't have an advantage whatsoever doing. His team couldn't run. The other thing is I do think they used more of a screen game. And I guess one of the big plays that happened today was somewhat of a wheel route down the sideline, one to Stevenson, one to Travion Henderson. So I do think those are 2 things that Drake May, maybe that they didn't do much of last year, play action, etc., that they could add to this offense. But I'm still on this McDaniels thing. Guy was fired twice mid-season. Like, how many people can you say that about? Oh, he's a great offensive coordinator. All right, great. How did he do with the Rams? And if you want to point to me that staff sucked and Bradford sucked and, having Greg Lloyd or whoever, Brandon Lloyd is your best wide receiver, fine. But then what makes you think it's going to work here then? Like, you could spew all those things to me, but what makes you think that it's different here than it is there? They had the number 1 pick. You have the number 4 pick. 3 pick, whatever. I don't understand that take. So I think Stephon Diggs will be a bigger acquisition than Josh McDaniels. But I did think that Pro Football Talk was pretty interesting today. Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs today on his Instagram story, amid all the talk surrounding him and his team, showed him catching a football from the Patriots. And for those that are just tuning in, just within the last maybe half hour or so, Ian Rappaport reported that the Let me just give you the exact quote here. Ian Rappaport, Patriots have no plans to release Stephon Diggs. They have high hopes for him, and him showing up to OTAs was a good thing. Imagine that. Him showing up was a good thing. There were some guys that weren't there today, though, that didn't show up. But again, it's voluntary, right, at this point? Doesn't even matter. Some other notes from today. Kickoff returns. I saw Gibson, this Land Larson kid, doing a lot. Efton Chisholm getting a lot of reps. Kyle Williams getting a lot of reps. But something that stood out to me was the fact that Jalen Polk and Diggs were together. This is good. Todd Downing was with, he's the wide receivers coach now for the Patriots. Last year, I believe he was the offensive coordinator for the Jets. And in the past was, I believe, part of the offense in Minnesota with Stephon Diggs. He talked about him. He's put them together. There's two guys on this team that I think have yards after catch ability. One is Diggs, no doubt. But the other is Kyle Williams. I thought those two would be hanging out together. They got to get this Jalen Polk thing right. I know it was a bad year. He's a big body. He can be a weapon around the red zone. We know he scored a couple touchdowns last year there. I like that. You have to get the rub from Stephon Diggs on that wide receiving core. I know there's other guys that still needed to develop. I think that Kayshon Boutte is a wide receiver in this league. I don't think Mac Hollins can be your fourth receiver. I think Kyle Williams, there's a lot of potential there. But Jalen Polk getting it right, he's your big receiver. With Stephon Diggs. With Pop Douglas. And mixing in other guys that can make plays like Boutte and Williams. Right now, I don't think they're a good wide receiving core. But bringing in Stephon Diggs and giving off what he knows and his intensity and things that he just knows. I've heard Stephon Diggs talk about he wants the number one receiver on the other number one corner on the other team every game. He wants the best. He knows how to get open. He knows how to find routes. I don't think they had a wide receivers coach that can teach him those things a year ago. I don't. I think Diggs could be huge for Jalen Polk. And I'm sure that there's talks about, well, if he doesn't make it, they got to cut him. I don't think they have another receiver on that team with the skills of Jalen Polk. Polk could play inside, outside, red zone, goal line. But last year, it was in his head. He couldn't play last year. Talked about having the best hands in the league. Like, at least if you're going to talk a big game, can you show it out a little bit more? But if Drake May does have his struggles this year, I'm going to look at McDaniels first. I know the receivers aren't great. I know the line's in transition. But I'm going to look at McDaniels and how he does with Drake May. Because last year, Drake May, although he had turnovers, he was exciting. He made big plays. Are they going to let him run the ball as much? If the offense struggles and Drake May struggles, the first person that will be blamed is Josh McDaniels. I stand by that. The jury's out. If he goes and scores 5 touchdowns in the first game, 5 touchdown passes, you can call the show and you can crush me, and I want the smoke. I want the smoke. But if Drake May has 3 turnovers and 2 interceptions and the offense scores 15 points, remember, the jury is out on Josh McDaniels. We'll talk to Alex Barth. We'll find out what the hell else happened today at OTAs besides what we heard in 11. Anything else to add there, Skaz? I'm on a McDaniels torch right now.
I'm letting you cook, Joe, as the kids would say, I think. You're on one. You're ready to go. It's a Monday. You've been You got some air frying in yesterday. I know you like to develop on Sundays, and then
Lifshats came in. It was like he had a proton pack of fire.
that sounds about right for Dan, though.
And then I was just I was burning the fire with him.
You're pouring a little gas on.
Yeah,
there.
I was like, I had the gasoline, and you should have heard him talking about streaming. It was great. We couldn't find the PSG game. Well, I couldn't.
It was on CBS.
No, not on Xfinity.
It was on CBS for me.
I will tell you it wasn't, because I looked for it.
Great game, though.
5-0. Great game, huh?
Great game.
5-0.
If you had PSG money line, it was a great game.
5-0.
5-0. You know it's bad when they blow the whistle right at 90, too. Like, there was no stoppage time in that one.
Was that called a clean sheet?
That is a clean sheet. I saw some bettors upset, though, with that quick whistle right at 90.
Because there was no extra time?
Wanted someone bet a 6-0.
Both teams to score? I love to bet that one.
Milan was not scoring in that one. They were barely touching the ball.
Should I mention that our buddy Eli Feingold had 2 goals?
Yeah, he's only the second, I believe, Revs defender ever, I think, or maybe at his age or something I saw.
And our buddy Isevic.
Close. Ivicic.
Damn. Had another clean slate. 3-0 win.
Looking good. The Joe Murray bump.
I think they've had 9 straight unbeaten games. Well, wait. A 9-game unbeaten streak.
There you go. Yes.
Whew. Did you put that one on a thumbnail, Jake? Revs 9-game unbeaten streak. Friend of the shows, Eli Feingold. It's true. He's got 3 goals since we've talked to him.
The Joe Murray bump, I'm telling you.
That night show bump. I like that night show bump. Oh, wow. The third baseman. Wow. Was that a double play? Oh, Toro. Ole! But he caught it, though.
It's like when you close your eyes and just hope.
Yeah, it's just. Oh, we've done that. What was that? The Sandlot? What happened there? What movie was that when he closed his eyes and the ball just went right in the glove? Rookie of the Year? Sandlot?
Sandlot sounds right.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk to Alex Barth. Get his thoughts from OTAs next on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
All right, back here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Of course, Patriots OTAs. Voluntary, by the way, just to let everybody know about that one. It's very voluntary, so some guys weren't there, but one guy that was there today was Stephon Diggs, and the other guy that was there today is our very own Alex Barth from 98.5 The Sports Hub. Alex, how you doing, bud?
How you doing, Joe?
I'm glad we had you on tonight. OTAs seemed like a little bit of a different feel at practice today, would you say, with Diggs showing up?
I mean, he was the story. It was even before he took the field, there was a whole wall of camera people waiting to get the shot of him just running up the steps. And, a lot of focus. He wasn't a full participant, but he was more involved than you'd expect somebody to be 7 months coming off a torn ACL. So definitely the Stephon Diggs day of the spring so far.
So I thought today was, in a way, a good thing. I think the boat incident was a good thing. I think they've gotten that out of the way. I think Vrabel handled it. I think Diggs posted videos, showed up today. And according to Ian Rappaport over the last half hour or so, Patriots will not be releasing Stephon Diggs. So I know it wasn't a good thing seeing the boat video and whatever the pink stuff was and all that, but I think they got Stephon Diggs in the program right now, and I think he's had his one time of being spoken to, and I think they can, if he passes the physical, I think they can go forward here.
Yeah, Joe, I think you're right. That's my read on it. And I just kind of wrote about this. If people want to check it out on 985thesportshub.com, that today felt like all right, we're moving on kind of day. Like that's in the past. And Josh McDaniels said he wasn't super concerned about it. Todd Downing said, Diggs has been working hard and he's been in touch with him. And then to get that report from Rap Sheet to kind of cap the day off, it feels like this is, look, when I say in the past, what I mean is I don't think this is going to be an immediate focus right now. Let's say we get to September and he's struggling to produce. Externally, it will certainly be brought up again, right? We'll all be going back to that video and being, should he have been focused more in the spring? But I think for now, the idea is it happened and it's done, and what's next?
I think it kind of, I don't want to say bring the team together, but there's focus now. And, one of the things I saw today, and you were down there, man, I like seeing Stephon Diggs with Jalen Polk. I thought it might have been like Kyle Williams or I like them working out together. I like all of that. If he's going to be a good player here, but also be somewhat of a mentor to some of these guys, I really liked what I saw with those two together. I know they can't work in some of the other drills because of injury, but that was a positive today. And maybe that's what today was, right? You saw a lot of positives. You saw the team come together. You saw some new wrinkles. Drake May had a good day. I mean, overall, this was a great day for the Patriots.
Yeah, it felt like a real step forward today overall, and specifically him working with the receivers, like you said. We kind of known, and he talked about his introductory press conference, he wants to be a part of that. He wants to help some of these younger guys get better. So there was the video of him with Jalen Polk from earlier in practice, obviously. He also walked off the field, was chatting with, and was going over some stuff with Kayshon Boutte, so that's another guy he spent some time with. I think that element is important to him. I think that element is important to them. And we saw it for the first time today with him really being on the field. He's been on some practices that weren't open to the media, so you figure it's not the first time that's happened, but I think it was notable that he spent a significant portion of today doing that kind of thing.
Hey, Alex, we're watching the videos. Diggs looks great. Skaz asked this question earlier, so I'm curious if you know. Do you know when his physical is to be cleared to practice with the team? And, do you think he will actually play in week one?
Yeah, it's a good question. To the first part, I don't know. I would guess before training camp, certainly. Will it be before next week? That feels kind of tight. If you're going to try to get it in, wouldn't you try to, get it in by now before there were any, practices? I wonder if it just has to do with the timeline of his recovery and when his surgery was, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak to that. As for the week one thing, it certainly looks like it's trending that way because he is 7 months removed. There have been guys that have been 7 months removed from an ACL injury that we don't even see on the field. Not only is he out there, he's running at full speed. He's cutting at full speed. He's planting at full speed. Still didn't do anything in terms of live team reps. So he was going at full speed, but not against the defense. But the fact that he was doing as much as he was, to me, is very encouraging. I recorded a podcast with Christopher Price from the Boston Globe that's up on the Sports Hub YouTube channel that people can check out. And we basically said the same thing, which is like, if they had to play a game today, would he be available? Probably not, but that doesn't matter. But he certainly looks like a guy that's on track for week one.
All right, it's great news there. You heard it from Alex Barth, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Check out his article over on today's OTAs, also his YouTube interview with Christopher Price, The Globe. So Drake May looked better from everything I've read today. I've read some of the examples of the offense to be bumpy or unsettled through the first couple of public OTAs. What was different today from the other ones?
It just felt like there was rhythm. Like, it wasn't, you could tell through those first few, like, it felt like they were installing. It felt like it was new. It felt like it was a walking through process, which is funny because Josh McDaniels said before practice today, they're going to run some stuff they hadn't run before. So I kind of heard that. I'm like, all right, might be another, bumpy, jerky kind of day for the offense, but it just felt like Drake May was in command. It felt like he was confident. There wasn't a ton of wasted time. There wasn't a ton of wasted reps, not a ton of wasted motion. It was snap, get the ball out, hitting the receivers in stride. Everything just looked more comfortable, which is kind of what you hope to see as this process goes on. And this is what's so tough about covering OTAs is it's not linear, right? We've seen 3 practices. They've had now 7. So we've seen less than half, and there's some reporting from Mike Reese that after the 4-interception practice, Drake May came out the next day and performed well. And that's something I love doing with training camp, right, is, okay, this guy had a bad day. Let me see how he rebounds tomorrow. This guy had a good day. Let me see how he stacks it tomorrow. You can't really do that with OTAs. We can do it with minicamp next week because we'll see all 3 of those, but you can't do that with OTAs. So it's tough to call today like a bounce back, but it felt, even though it wasn't linear, it felt linear in that I think a lot of the issues the first 2 days were just May looked unsure at times, and the offense as a whole looked unsure at times, not just him. Everybody really looked to be in lockstep today.
All right, Alex, what I know you'll probably write about it soon, but from your eyes, and you were there today, what was impressive to you? What looked good? What's something you're excited about to see maybe during the season or the rest of camp?
So today was a pretty big running back day. As far as the pass game goes, felt like they're getting the running backs involved. So getting to see some of that from Travion Henderson, which is something you talked about a lot with him during the draft, was good. Ramondre Stevenson catching some passes as well. I should mention, we should bring up Efton Chisholm. Had an unbelievable day today and continues to put together a strong camp. He'll need to do it when the pads come on. But, for being a UDFA, you can't necessarily win a roster spot in the spring, but you can lay the foundation to set yourself up to win one in August. And I think Chisholm is laying that foundation to this point. So that was impressive. What didn't look good, Jaheim Bell has had some drops. And that third tight end competition still seems wide open. I don't think anybody's really separated themselves, whether it be Bell, Jack Westover, C.J. Dupree, G. Scott. But a little bit of the drops today for Jaheim Bell.
There's been reports that teams are calling on Kyle Pitts. I don't love him. But maybe in a Josh McDaniels offense, he can move a little bit, right? He's got speed. Would they ever consider a move like that, considering Hunter Henry and, re-signing the backup tight end as well?
I mean, I think for the right price, sure. Like, I'm somebody, I still haven't totally quit Kyle Pitts. I loved him a lot coming out. Obviously, he hasn't lived up to those expectations. I think some of it is the coaching in Atlanta has been a mess. His usage has been a mess. Like, they don't throw him the ball in the red zone, which is very weird, or they haven't for most of his career. But that being said, this is a guy that's 4 or 5 years in and still hasn't proven a ton. The report over the weekend or late last week was that they might want a day 2 pick. I'm not giving up a day 2 pick for Kyle Pitts. If that comes down to like a 5th or a 6th round pick, I'd be all in because I think he's a great flyer, and it's not like anybody, and it's still very early, but it's not like anybody's emerging from the group they have. But, top 100 pick for him, that's too much for me. I think you can get a third tight end in a much more reasonable scenario than that.
Just getting back to Efton Chisholm.
Yeah.
I know the story about this kid. He broke Cooper Kupp's records. Is it because of him that it's impressive, or is it because the wide receiver group still has some question marks?
I mean, it's a little bit of both. I think not every team in the league he would have a chance to win a job. Now, there's a reason that he didn't sign with those teams, right? And I don't think the Patriots are the only team where he could win a job. I'm surprised he didn't get drafted, and I know I'm not alone in that. A lot of people thought he was going to be drafted. Late day 3, but drafted. So some of it is certainly like he's pushing for a spot in a weaker group. But it's also, you watch him run routes, and his ability to separate at the top of the route, which is something that stood out with Pop Douglas 2 years ago. The way he sets up the defender, breaks, and finds room on the field. Like, not everybody can do that. He's doing that at a high level. The other thing, his hands. He doesn't just catch everything. It's an active process for him. Catching the football is an active process. He's not waiting for the ball to come to him. He's going out. He's snatching it out of the air, away from his body. That's a trait that has always translated well in Josh McDaniels' offense, in an offense that wide receivers has not always translated well to. So, look, some of it obviously is like it's not the best wide receiver group, and that's going to help him. But he has shown NFL caliber skills at that position.
I'll save you my Josh McDaniels takes because the jury's out. We don't have to talk about that. We'll do that another day, Alex. We'll bring you in. We'll hang out. We'll have pizza. We'll make it a whole deal.
Sounds like a good time. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's right. I've been trying to get Mike Cadlick in as well because he's got controversial pizza takes that I don't like.
He does. Well, he has controversial pizzas.
That's true.
The pictures he posts. I mean, it's not always great. The distribution of the toppings is rough.
Maybe we'll do a football round table before camp. Before real camp starts. That could be cool. Final thing for me: why isn't Will Campbell or Trevion Henderson signed yet by the Patriots?
Mike Reese had something on that on ESPN over the weekend. There's more flexibility now with those rookie contracts in the first 2 rounds, so there is a little more to be negotiated. He mentioned cash flow with Will Campbell, which is probably, how the bonus is going to be structured. Those second-round guys, there's some variance in how much those contracts can be guaranteed. Figure Trevion Henderson wants all the guaranteed money. The Patriots are going to try to limit it. So it's not uncommon for guys drafted in those spots. You see some other guys around the league drafted in similar spots that aren't signed. I think Mike pretty much nailed it. It's a little more complicated now with those top 60 draft picks than it was when they first started the rookie wage scale.
All right, Alex. Great job. Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate it. And we'll work on that football roundtable. I'll pick a date. We'll get pizza, and we'll have fun.
I think let me know how I can help. I think that's a great idea. Let's put that together.
All right, let's do it. He's Alex Barth. Everybody, check out his work, 985thesportshub.com. He did a YouTube video with Christopher Price, The Globe. He'll have more for you. He'll be at OTAs, and be sure to check out 985 The Sports Hub and our pizza party. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate you, bud.
Thanks, Joe.
You got it. He's Alex Barth, everybody. Barth man, bam, 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 Barth man, bam, 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 Barth man. Does anybody remember the Bartman song from The Simpsons? Remember Bartman? No.
Neil says yes.
Yeah, everybody, if you can do the Bartman, Bartman. But maybe we could do the Barthman. Everybody back and working side to side. Do the Barthman. Do the Barthman. All right. Well, you could work on that one. You got some content, Jake and Skaz back there to have some fun with it. All right, let's get to the headline here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Start with the Red Sox, who won a game yesterday, and then, what happens the next day? They win, and then they lose. And it's not good early on. 6-1 right now, bottom of the 5th inning. Dick Fitz got the start, and, just wasn't hitting it. So now Hunter Dobbins is in the game. What else is going on? Patriots OTAs, just talked to Alex Barth. May 14-16 today, 11-on-11 drills. Stephon Diggs was there, and the report from Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network is that they are not going to release him. Frank Ragnow, he's big center, lineman for the Lions. He's going to retire. Not cool. Well, good for him, but not good for the Lions. Stanley Cup. Start on Wednesday night. Brad Marchand of the Panthers versus Edmonton. Speaking of Edmonton, they had interest in Jeremy Swayman midseason. And the NBA Finals are on Thursday. Pacers, New York Knicks. Austin Ainge leaving the Celtics for Utah. Wonder why. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. for all his work. What do they have on the rundown for this segment here? Because I get thoughts. You know, we got a full house again tonight. Jake Seymour is here. Jake did a solid for us this weekend, cut up some video and audio for our YouTube channel, so go check that out. For anybody who missed the Keith Smith interview, it's up there if you want to learn about the Celtics salary cap. Skaz posted our buddy
Kyle did most of the work on that one. Ivicic. Close.
And then Eli Feingold, our buddy, 3 goals now, 2 in the last game. But those interviews are all up there. Are we expecting a Revs guest this week?
Joe, USA soccer plays on the 7th. We may be getting a guest relative to Team USA soccer on Thursday night. We're in the works, Joe. We're trying to make something happen. Might be a friend of the show we've had on numerous times. Might be someone else this time. We'll see.
Okay. Well, you're just gonna have to sit back and wait, everybody. Find out who it is. Let's talk to Don and Carver. He's on the line. Don, how are you tonight, sir?
Hey. There's no business like Joe business, like Joe business, I know. So much for the Boffo intro. Now let's get to the serious stuff here. I agree with you 100%, Joe, on Josh McDaniel. The one thing I don't want to see is this kid Drake May get harnessed. Take the harness off, please. He has all the makings of a very exciting player, and I just don't want to see him become a robotic automaton. And I think that Josh has a tendency to get too technical, and hopefully that won't happen. And I don't know if that was your concern or not. But there you go.
Yeah,
you take care of yourself.
Now, real quick, Don, before we let you go, I thank you for agreeing with my. All I'm saying is this: this isn't a without Brady thing. This is a without Brady or Belichick thing. Anytime he wasn't under their supervision, he has struggled. It's just fact. And
I absolutely 1,000% agree, Joe. So that's why I'm very much on the fence about his hiring and about his taking over a fresh talent like and very talented quarterback like Drake May, the potential at least.
And the other thing is this, he's highly decorated. He's won championships. He's won big games, playoff games. He's worked well with quarterbacks. He has a history of it with Bill and Tom and Matt Castle under Bill Belichick's guidance. But you mentioned something I do think is interesting. People want to credit McDaniels for what he did with Mac Jones. What he did with Mac Jones was limit turnover-worthy plays. That's something Drake May struggled with a year ago. If Drake May can minimize his turnovers, I will credit Josh McDaniels for that, because he does have a history of doing that with Mac Jones and even Cam Newton for that matter. But again, that was with Bill Belichick.
Again, it's a 50-50 proposition, and we won't know till about a third or half into the season.
You got it, Don.
Thanks, Jim.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks.
That was a healthy discussion. By the way, he's 50-50. I'm 50-50 no. 50-50 no. Skaz, are you 50-50 no?
Yeah, why not, Joe? 50-50 no.
I'm not even 50-50, by the way. I'm no. I swear to you, Skaz, you could put Patriots fans on a stand. I swear to tell the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And you asked him about Josh McDaniels. And you'll say, how did Josh McDaniels do without Brady and Belichick? And they'll be like, he's a winner. Doesn't matter. He had Tebow. Who drafted Tebow? Oh, when he was with the Rams. Doesn't matter. Sam Bradford sucks. He's a winner.
Just for the Sam Bradford sucks people, he was the offensive rookie of the year before Josh McDaniels got there.
Oh, when Spagnuolo was there, they all sucked. On a stand. Literally. I swear to tell the whole truth, nothing but truth. And they'll tell you. Doesn't matter. Look what he did with Cam Newton. Again, can you talk without Bill or Tom? He's a winner. He ain't going to ruin Drake May. Forget about it.
Oh, that must be why he had so many job offers and teams around the NFL were clamoring to hire him.
Remember Derek Carr had like an MVP campaign, blew out his leg? Then who took over? McDaniels.
Josh
McDaniels had, I just want to mention this. Granted, if you want to battle me, he was the head coach. I think he ran the offense, but what do I know? He had Devontae Adams. Darren Waller was good then. Like they got Jacoby Myers. Josh Jacobs rushed for like almost 1,600 yards. Max Crosby, they were good. Not him. Derek Carr regressed. They had to play Jarrett Stidham. So all I can say is this. If you're going to bring up the Mac Jones and what he did with him, the one thing he did with Mac Jones and the reason why Mac Jones was successful was because they limited turnovers and he never threw the ball in the red zone. Never. That's why Mac Jones was good. When Mac Jones lost him, what happened? High turnover rate plays. They didn't know. And when Bill O'Brien came in, forget it. Suspect all the way. Knew the plays. They wanted Bailey Zappi out of there. They wanted everybody out. They wanted them all out. The turnover-worthy plays were always the issue for Mac Jones. So, Mac can run on offense. He also can turn the ball over. You have to call plays where you don't turn the ball over. I think Drake May is an immense talent. If Josh McDaniels can limit the turnover-worthy plays for Drake May, they'll be successful. Until then, the jury is out. We got in or out coming up next here on 98.5 The Sports Zone.
Hey, there's no business like Joe business, like Joe business I know.
What's it gonna be, McFly? Are you in or out?
out. Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed. Or out.
All right, Joe. Monday, June 2nd edition of In or Out. Let's start with college basketball tonight, Joe. Why not? UConn and Illinois announced they will be playing a Black Friday game at MSG. Joe Murray, are you in or out?
So what was the game in Boston? UConn BYU?
I believe so, yes.
So
yes.
now we get, what is Illinois' tie to MSG? None.
I don't know.
In on Boston, out on New York. Easy enough.
But UConn just gets a pass to both?
UConn right now, because they won a championship 2 years ago, is
over.
Is,
done.
Yes.
No.
They're getting like this, like, UConn. Wow. I'll update everybody on what's going on in a minute here.
Sox really know how to twist a knife, don't they?
If the glove fits, you must, Richard. Out. I don't care about it. I don't care about that one. Who cares? I don't care about UConn and Illinois at all.
Yeah, me neither.
If you could play it on at Fenway, I don't care.
Well, Joe, speaking of Fenway, we'll head to Fenway Park for our next In or Out. On Saturday, June 7th, Joe, Fenway Park will make history once again as it hosts Fight Night at Fenway, the first boxing event to take place at the iconic venue since 1956. Joe Murray, are you in or out on Fight Night at Fenway?
And we need listen, I think there's a great history of boxing in Massachusetts locally here. I believe the Nolan brothers are putting this together. I heard Chris Mannix talking about it earlier.
The Nolan brothers present Fight Night at Fenway.
They reached out to me. I don't know, Skaz, because of the scheduling this week. I have spoken to them. I just don't know when. But I'm in on this, and you know what? It's real licensed fighting. Like one of the fighters is like a real big up and comer, right? Sean, I forget his name. It's probably some Irish name I'm screwing up. But in on this. Listen, when UFC comes to the Garden, it's a big deal. Boxing's a big deal. It's different here, right? This summer, what different things you're looking for to do? Boxing in Boston. And now, I don't know what it's going to look like from the seats, though. Like, I go to wrestling events all the time. I like to watch the ring. So if I'm like in the grandstands, can I see the ring? I went to the Winter Classic. I could barely see some of
this. This is going to be in the concourse.
Get the hell out of here.
In the big concourse.
That's how they do card shows now. Like that. So this is not even on the field?
Situated in the rustic confines of Fenway Park's big concourse. If you go to, Fight Night at Fenway, MLB.com, you could see a picture of what the ring will look like and what the seating will be like. It looks pretty good. I don't know how many people are going to be
I like that.
There.
They got a baseball bat with gloves.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right on. Okay, so this would be like where the Ted Williams statue is. You would walk in right there. Yeah, that bleachers concourse, I guess is what we would call it. That's a great area. Dude, and plus it rises up like that. Oh my God, imagine just like standing outside, getting a piece of street meat, watching some boxing. And
street meat and boxing. Nothing better. Well, Joe, we'll head to Major League Baseball for this next one. The Mariners announced, this feels like a long time coming, but they announced they will be retiring Randy Johnson's number next season. Joe Murray, are you in or out on the Mariners retiring Randy Johnson's number?
And deserves it. It's where he started in Montreal because I have his rookie card. When three best players, Randy Johnson, A-Rod, Ken Griffey Jr., I have to put Ichiro in there.
Felix Hernandez?
You know what's funny about Felix Hernandez? He's going to be on the ballot. He's going to get a lot of votes. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't. But he's going to be A-Rod, Griffey, Ichiro. I still think Randy Johnson was dominant. Now, Randy Johnson won championship with Arizona, which some people might consider. I remember Randy as a Mariner. And then when he hit a bird throwing with the Yankees.
All right, Joe, let's head to the world of wrestling for this next one. I get a lot of wrestling on my timeline. There was some outrage this weekend, some disappointment from fans. I think Jay Stu included had a tweet about this. Joe Murray, are you in or out on R-Truth being let go by WWE?
Love R-Truth? Considering he was in the main event a week ago on Saturday Night Main Event versus John Cena, timing wasn't great. Maybe it was a send-off. I think R-Truth will be just fine. But what it shows is he was important in that locker room, man. He might not have wrestled a lot, but as far as being a character and, picking guys up and showing them the ropes. For those who don't know, his real name is Ron. Why do you draft a kicker that went to Miami and you put him in New England? Do we know anything about kickers in this town?
Who's the kid from Florida State? Aguayo or the kid that never missed a kick in college, and then they took him in the second round and he was awful?
I prefer my kickers with cold showers.
Well, they tried the Michigan kicker, Joe. That didn't work out.
Well, the problem was that he could kick the hell out of the ball, but it wasn't accurate enough. Quinn Nordine?
Something like that, yeah.
That sound familiar?
If he can be back here as the 6th, 7th guy, fine. But if Al Horford's going to the Knicks, I'm fine with that as well. That doesn't sway anything that Al Horford did as a Celtic.
Reliability is the word you're looking for, Scuzz.
Yes.
They need someone they can rely on as a big in the front court. It has been Jason Tatum. It has been. We don't think that, right? We think wing, but their best front court player has been Jason Tatum. They've also lost Austin Ainge going to Utah. So they've now lost Van Gundy, Charles Lee. Did they lose anybody else from their staff on the bench?
Damon
Stoudemire. And now Austin Ainge.
Micah was.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this is when you're good, you lose pieces that help you, right? The Austin Ainge move, I think, can hurt them. They're not going to replace him. I think Austin Ainge, for 14 years, really knows college sports. And we went over the list the other night, guys, of how great they've been. At, even players they've identified have been pretty good in the league. They're all in the league. I think Austin Ainge is a big loss. We'll ask Brian Barrett of The Ringer what his thoughts are on the Celtics and more. Now, oh, my God. Watch this. They need a first baseman. We got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
find of Hauser and signing Hauser, right? And originally hiring Ime as the head coach. Like, they've made a lot of smart moves. So losing anybody from that front office, I do think that it's a big deal. And it's a good point, too, on Charles Lee, because I don't know how in that series against the Knicks that they did not realize that going to double bigs was a bad idea, and not pressuring the Knicks ball handlers, especially Jalen Brunson, full court would have taken some miles off him. Like, they did that same thing to Luka last year in the postseason. So maybe Charles Lee's here. Maybe he suggests something along those lines. I'm not saying he definitely would have, but you watch the way that the Pacers played the Knicks and you watch the way the Celtics played the Knicks. They did everything wrong. The Celtics did. Like, that team, you needed to push the ball and play fast. The Celtics played incredibly slow. It just made no sense. But as I digress here, yeah, I think it's a big loss too, because he's so big in terms of the scouting of the draft picks that they've made over the past few years, right? And look, I know like recently they haven't drafted a lot of guys, but they haven't had a lot of picks. But through the years, he's been really important in terms of their draft selections.
Brian, there was report Tim Bontemps mentioned that Celtics might move on from Al Horford, and the Knicks might be a team that's interested. Do you think that he's still a part of the Celtics' future, or do you think they'll move on from Al Horford?
Yeah, I guess it depends on like what type of money Al Horford's looking for. Like, the thing about Horford is I think he can still contribute to a lot of teams around the league. So if the Celtics are going to move on from him, he's going to have takers. I wish that he would end his career here, but I can't blame him if the Celtics aren't going to offer him the money that he's looking for, and there's other teams out there that can possibly offer him something that are contenders. I don't know if the Knicks are the best fit for him. I guess they would have to move on from one of their other guys, whether it's they're doing some kind of big trade for Karl Anthony Towns, if maybe they convince the Suns, or maybe the Suns convince the Knicks that, hey, how about a Kevin Durant, Karl Anthony Towns swap, because it's the only way I could see them fitting Al Horford. They're going to have financial issues as well, although Brunson saves them a ton of money. But, I mean, even a team like if the Lakers could find a way to bring in Al Horford, he'd certainly contribute to them. He's not the type of role man they usually have, but he's still a stretch big that can hit threes, and he can defend multiple positions. Like, I thought he had a pretty good postseason. He's better with 2 days off than 1 day off. But you look at the Celtics big man situation, so Porzingis has an expiring contract that obviously at this point in time, you still don't know what happened with the illness. You'd like to move on from him. If Kornet wants a good contract, he can get one. He could have got more money last offseason, but he decided to come back. He would be one of the best backup centers in the NBA. I don't think that's hyperbolic, and I think he made himself some money in this postseason. That's why I do think like the whole idea of if Dallas is really willing to offer a guy like Daniel Gafford in a potential Drew Holiday trade, I think you have to do that if you're the Celtics, because I don't think the Drew market is going to be huge just because of the age and the length of the contract. So all of a sudden, we talked about all this big man depth the Celtics have had the past few years. We're talking about Porzingis, we're talking about Al, we're talking about Kornet. I like Kata probably more than most, but all of a sudden, that big man depth could be completely gone.
All right, we're talking to Brian Barrett. He's of The Ringer. We want to bounce around a couple of things with you. Red Sox tonight. Garrett Crochet was unbelievable, and I really want to credit Alex Cora. I don't do that often, but I'm going to credit him for letting him go back out for the seventh. What was most impressive to me about that seventh inning where he struck out the side, all three strikeouts were on breaking pitches. That was impressive to me. The bullpen, he helped the bullpen out a bit. They need the bullpen tonight right after Richard Fitt's start tonight, which isn't great. They're battling back. They're trying, but, you know, when I think about the Red Sox, there's so many things that Alex Cora is managing besides wins. Yesterday was a win. But today, it's like, how do you win multiple games in a row? And I think that's what's missing from this team, man. There's so many other things they're thinking about. It's not wins.
Yeah, Crochet, to your point first, like the positive with this team. I was talking about this the other day. You almost forget like how good his season's been because the Red Sox have not made the most of it, right? He's legitimately one of the best starters in Major League Baseball. That striking out the side, you talked about the breaking balls. How about the fact that he was 99 pitches in? And we were questioning, or at least I was personally, Joe, like, hey, is he going to come back into the game because we've seen him pulled early before? And it's like, no, we're sending him back out there. Not only does he get through the inning, he strikes out the side after 99 pitches. So I thought that was just awesome. And the reason he's not a big talking point around here is just because the fact the rest of the team has not been great. And what was it, last month, They won one of his starts, and in all those starts, he gave up 2 earned runs or fewer. There's only been one start where he's given up more than 2 earned runs, and it was that super weird start where he walked 5 guys. But that's the positive. To your point, like, you get nothing out of Fitz tonight. 6 runs, 5 earned in 1 inning, 3 home runs. Again, a starter for the Red Sox that is just not ready to go. And then you look at Buehler the other day, coming off that really impressive weekend where the Red Sox at least take 2 out of 3 against a Braves team that is better than their record is. He was miserable in that game. Absolutely horrible. He gave up 10 hits, 5 earned, 2 walks. And the problem, like, at the beginning of the season, prior to his injury, he wasn't allowing any loud contact. If you look at the last 2 starts, 18 hard hit balls off the bat 95 plus out of 35 batted balls. That's 51.4%. He's given up the most hard hit balls during that stretch. So we know he doesn't get strikeouts. He doesn't get swings and misses anymore. And if he's not getting soft contact, then what can you do? I even think that the Giolito start was a little misleading. Like, yeah, I get it. He only gave up 1 run. And I don't know, he pulled a Houdini act there in that first inning. I thought that was at least a 2 spot, but definitely a 3 or a 4 spot. But even in that game, he barely gets swings and misses. He gave up a ton of loud contact in that particular outing. So I almost feel like he just got through it. So the reason that Cora has to do so much managing is you have one starter that you can depend on. Now, maybe Brian Bayo comes out on Tuesday and impresses us because even though, despite the fact that the Angels were talking have 7 runs, that's not a very impressive lineup right now. But Bayo has just been, he's taken a step back this year. He still hasn't figured out his changeup. He's throwing it 2 miles an hour harder than he was a season ago. So he doesn't really have that pitch. And then he shows up the manager when the manager comes to take him out of the game. Now, personally, I thought he could have gone further on in that game. But the problem for Bayo is you don't have the credibility right now to show up the manager. Like, if Crochet's pissed on the mound when he gets taken out early, all right, like, you can justify it. The problem is Bayo, his 4 starts prior to the one last game that he didn't go 5 innings, he hadn't gone 5 innings. So you can't really trust the guy, especially the 3rd time through the order. And then Tanner Houck, of course, dealing with the injury. We don't know when Cutter Crawford's got to be back. So that's the big thing to me. And then you look at the fact that Slayton goes on the injured list. Well, he threw 13 innings in May. It may not sound a lot for a reliever, but the Red Sox play out these 1-run games. The reason that Slayton has pitched 13 innings, he's one of your 2 main high leverage guys, so he ends up getting injured. I just don't know how this pitching staff, especially the bullpen, is going to last this long or last throughout the season when they only have 1 starter that can give them length. That's it. And then we're dealing with this whole first base situation.
So, Brian, I was just going to say this to you. I know Brian Barrett's a huge stat guy. I know what the May numbers were for Christian Campbell at second. They were the worst in the league, by the way. But I'm curious what the Red Sox first baseman, even with Cassis this year, what are the Red Sox averages, home runs, OBP, strikeout, errors, all that stuff? Because, you know, I know Dom Smith got released. Maybe he's coming out. I don't know. It's horrible to watch. And tonight, I don't know if you saw Romy Gonzalez on a simple, he should have underhanded it, by the way.
Yeah.
But the pitcher has to put his arm up in the air, and then he might be hurt. It's really bad right now. I'm not, by the way, the Devers thing, I'm not blaming Devers. This is not about Devers. Although it's not a good look, he's out there playing shortstop today, throwing balls around. But I would love to know the numbers of the first baseman for the Red Sox this year because it's bad.
Yeah, it's been miserable when you look at it at both ends. And look, Cassis wasn't good, obviously, prior to the injury, but I think he has enough of a track record. I know people can't stand Cassis at times, and I understand it. He can be annoying, but I think eventually he was going to turn it around. Like, he's just too good of a player to be the way that he was essentially performing so far this season. But first, if you look at the defense, they're -7 defensive runs saved at first, which is 30th. There's 30 teams in Major League Baseball.
Wow.
And the second to last team, there's 4 teams that are at -4, and they're at -7 defensive runs saved at first base. And yeah, to your point on Romy, I can't get too mad about the guys because they don't normally play there, right? And with Romy Gonzalez, at least he's hitting tonight, which you weren't getting much production out of your first base position to begin with. But you look at the first base situation in terms of the batting average is .242, which is middle of the pack. It's 18th in Major League Baseball. But then you look at the on-base percentage around middle of the pack. It's 19th in Major League Baseball. So, for a position that you're essentially getting the worst defense in the sport in, you're getting below average level production from the offensive side of things as well. That's why I would imagine that's why they're looking at maybe eventually Christian Campbell gets some first base, but it feels like Toro's going to get opportunities there. Toro's actually been swinging the bat well, but it's been a complete mess when it comes to that. And then I would say this, like with Christian Campbell, he was legitimately the worst hitter in the sport in the month of May. Worst batting average, worst OPS, worst everything. The guy that was second worst in those categories is Trevor Story, although he did come alive a little bit over the weekend. I'm not depending on that, but at least it was good to see him do something with the bat. And I think about Christian Campbell right now. He's going through his second month in Major League Baseball where he's struggling. There was a game where, and there's a lot of games where he's doing this, but before the game, he's trying to learn how to play first base. And then in the game, he actually played center field, and his primary position has been second base. So this guy right now is struggling to hit the ball, and we're having him basically play three positions. And he's been terrible defensively at second base. He's been obviously better in the limited opportunities in the outfield. But right now, he's struggling at the plate, and we have him playing all these different positions. It's just the way that they sort of treat their younger players, it just sort of irritates me because even I think about a guy like Marcelo Meyer. It's like, hey, we're going to give him reps at second so he can come up and play second when Campbell's ready to play first. Then Bregman, unfortunately, who had been from start to finish your best player, right, considering he brings you the defensive impact that Rafael Devers doesn't, he goes down and it's like, oh, Marcelo Meyer's playing third. So now he's played more third base at the major league level than he did at the minor league level. It's like these guys are premium prospects, right? Like, why is Christian Campbell, and he has not performed up to the level we expected, moving all over the diamond? Why is Marcelo Meyer, like, learning all the, not that it's not that difficult to go from short to third, but it's still a different position. And then you think about the fact, too, like, we're waiting to get Roman Anthony up because apparently Craig Breslow wants to make sure he can get at-bats every day. You know who can control that? You guys. Just keep him out there every day. Like, it's not that difficult to do. He's the number one prospect in the sport. You just let him play every day. You're letting Christian Campbell right now play every day through these struggles that he's having. I don't know why you couldn't keep a guy like Roman Anthony in the lineup every day. So I think just have hated how they've handled all the young guys.
All right, Brian, appreciate you tonight, man. I'll save the Stephon Diggs stuff because it sounds like they're not going to cut him, but
I was on the boat. You know that?
Yeah. Oh, you were on the boat, huh?
Yeah, I was on the boat. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, man.
Well, I won't ask you about Pablo Torres because I don't want to get you in trouble, okay? Because, I don't know what's going on with that guy, but he's calling out your boss.
Yeah, no. Well,
don't say anything. Don't say anything. I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to do that.
All right.
But it is funny, though, right? Like if someone comments on social media and then someone doesn't like it, they call them out like, I want to have a conversation with you. Like, you don't have to say anything. I don't want to get you in trouble. I just think it's all just this is all Jordan's fault.
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's kind of crazy. Like, he's just like, how many podcasts and stories is that about Bill?
Oh, by the way, he's going to be there now. It's $1 million buyout, I believe now. It was $10 million.
Oh yeah, right. Did we cross the date? Right.
We crossed the date.
All right, here we go. I'm ready to go. Well, maybe Jordan will get the games taken off TV. Like, you can't even watch North Carolina on like ESPN or anything anymore.
Yeah, I know. That'd be very funny. All right, Brian. Well, what was that? What was that?
I was going to say she wants final production rights to any regular game too.
Does she have final production rights for the Off the Pike podcast?
She does not. She's welcome to come on though.
Yeah, I saw you had. Was it Justin Verrier? Is that who it was?
Yeah, Justin Verrier from the Ringer. Yep, Ringer NBA show. So we had him on yesterday talking about the Celtics off season and what they can do, and basically some of the stuff I talked about Missoula a lot. And I was so disappointed in the series that he had. Not that he's like a friend of mine. Like I say, I was disappointed, but no, I was just really pissed off with the way that he coached.
30 seconds or less. 2-part question. Does the Pacers making the finals make last year's path more stronger for the Celtics? And do you think the Celtics could have beat the Pacers this year?
I think they could have beat the Pacers this year. To the first part, no, just because Halliburton got hurt, so I don't think it makes it look better than it did in terms of the opponents they played. But I think that would have been a 7-game series, just because Porzingis couldn't move, and Jalen's knee, like Jalen was inconsistent throughout that run as well.
All right, he's Brian Barrett, everybody. Check him out over at The Ringer. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time tonight.
All right, Joe.
All right, he's Brian Barrett, everyone. Check out his work. I had to throw that Pablo Torre. I don't know. Him and Bill Simmons got some, something going on. I don't want to get Brian in trouble.
Yeah,
he wanted to answer, too, and I'm like, no, don't answer, dude, don't.
Bill Simmons has never harped on a story for an extended period of time, never beat anything into the ground.
By the way, this isn't an insult. Wow, did you see that? His first base is a tough time over there. This is not an insult to Bill Simmons when I say this. Was he really ever a reporter? No, right? Wasn't he just like a blogger who became famous? And I mean this in sincerity. I love his story. Boston guy, passionate, wrote stories, became a ESPN guy, left, started his own brand. It's working great. He's like whatever you want to say about Bill Simmons, he knows great talent and hires great talent. My only thing is I think he does things to get people to click. I'm not saying click. I'm not saying he's a baiter, okay? The look of everybody in the back. Baiting. Baiting. We didn't say anything. Oh, God. Let's just go to the headline. I'm Joe Murray of the Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
All right, Red Sox trail 7-5 right now. We're down 6-0. OTAs for the Patriots today. Well, Drake May had a good day. Stephon Diggs was there. Ian Rappaport's reporting he's not going to get cut. Everyone's happy. The NBA Finals, they'll begin on Thursday. Austin Ainge, though, leaving the Celtics for Utah. And the Stanley Cup Final begins on Wednesday night. Brad Marchand of the Panthers versus Edmonton. Headlines, they are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Joe Murray.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Zoe, and if you've got mold or funky odors creeping around your home or office, don't mess around. Call my guys at Green Home Solutions. They'll restore your air quality safely, and that means healthier air for your kids, your pets, and grandma too. Visit greenhomesolutions.com/Boston to book your free consultation today and tell them Zoe sent you.
Hey, it's Felger here to talk about Ramp. Ramp is a corporate card that our
who are these folks? These are up-and-coming coaches. They are not necessarily, they haven't been around in terms of NHL experience, but they are young, they're dynamic, they're good communicators, they are progressive thinkers in terms of video, in terms of data, in terms of analytics. And I think they fit the profile, guys, of somebody who will grow in unison with the players and the team and the organization around them. Let's face it, okay, you can talk all you want about, you have Pasternak, you have McAvoy, you have Swayman, and with those players, those foundational players, perhaps this team can get right back into the playoffs next year. We'll see, but the facts are that this was the 5th worst team in the league, and they have a prospect pool that has been replenished to some point, but not to a point where any team would be comfortable. So you bundle that all in. This is not the Florida Panthers. This is a team that we don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. We don't. It all depends on what they do at the draft, July 1st. Whatever happens after, there's still a lot of roster building to take place. So you look at that and you look at the coach, I think they grow in lockstep.
Sometimes I say Fred and friends, and I just don't want to leave anybody out, like Wallach, Adam 12, and Ryan Beaton. All great guys. All of them. So the Bruins are down to 2 candidates. 2 candidates. So, Skaz, let me ask you, without knowing the names. Uh-oh. We got to bookmark a situation that's going on in the Red Sox game. I don't want to veer off or whatever, but let's bookmark what just happened there. We'll get to it in a little bit. Red Sox trail 7-6 for those that are wondering. I don't know if there was an ejection or something just happened with Jarren Duran. But manager Alex Cora had to come out to get him. I think it was a check swing that he was called out on. And he chirped, and Cora had to get him. And, of course, just some things with Duran that I think he's been known to chirp. They need him. And I think it was great that I'm going to give Alex Cora credit again, guys, for going out there and getting his guy. He's just doing his job, by the way.
Woo, the bare minimum, Joe.
I'm giving him credit for doing his job.
Yeah.
I know.
He showed up today.
You're right, guys. You're right. I'm giving him credit. He's just doing his job.
Well, congrats, Alex Cora. I'm happy.
Thank you for doing your job 2 games in a row.
Look at that. Starting a streak, Joe.
Whoa. Hey, whoa. Streaks. So I didn't mean to go off track here, but let's have some fun with this one, guys. If you were going to choose the next coach of the Boston Bruins, because, nobody's going to turn down that job. The 100-year history. You know what I'm saying? Fired coaches, none of that stuff.
I've been told we'd get a call when that happened. Still waiting.
Still waiting for that one.
Waiting for that one.
Would you rather, let's play a nice little game of would you rather, an assistant coach in the NHL that specializes in defense? Or would you like an AHL coach that's a former player that has had success at every level but NHL? Which guy would you rather have?
That's all the information I'm given. You're not going to tell me where he was an assistant coach?
Well, the player A,
Washington,
won a Stanley Cup.
Coach A,
Washington, won a Stanley Cup. Coach B, no. But won a medal at the Olympics.
Has Coach A ever been an NHL head coach before?
I cannot confirm that he has been.
I don't love the idea of retreads, Joe. An AHL guy, I guess that's, I'm kind of in on that. If he's been very successful at every level, yeah, sure. Why not? I don't want, Pete Lavalette. I don't want to do that again. I don't want Alain Vigneault.
He has never been a head coach, this one. Never been. Either is the other, though. So both have never been head coaches in the NHL. One is a head coach, but at the AHL level. One is a great defensive coach for Washington, who's had like Orlov and guy,
He looked good in the playoffs. Woof.
He's old.
Hey, Joe, normally I think I'd say NHL, but why not AHL? You know, a guy that can develop some talent, a guy that knows what the younger kids are like. The Bruins got a lot of draft picks coming up. They haven't really been able to develop any talent. It feels like they've had coaches who have avoided giving guys chances at times, younger guys, or, you know, we have to watch. I can't even think of the guy. Max Jones play a bunch of games because, I don't know, he's old and we can't let the kids play. Like, give me the guy that, you know, at least might give the kids a shot, I guess, is where I lean in that scenario.
So, Coach A is Mitch Love, 40 years old.
Nice name.
He has been an assistant to Spencer Carberry in Washington. He was the runner-up to Jim Montgomery. Next is 46-year-old Marco Sturm. Finished his third season with the Ontario Reign, which is part of the LA Kings minor league AHL club. He has been a Kings assistant now for 4 seasons before that. And then, obviously, he was a part of the Joe Thornton blockbuster trade. Love and Sturm have gone to in-person meetings. I think Pittsburgh is still interested in, maybe they're waiting to see what happens there. Don Sweeney did say NHL head coaching experience was not a requirement, and he may be looking for a younger coach who can grow into the position as the Bruins rebuild. Love has been in charge of Washington's defense. The Capitals allowed 2.79 goals this year, 8th lowest in the NHL. Now, if you remember Marco Sturm, he actually learned under Todd McClellan, who's was renowned a LA defensive coach. So they've been in developmental positions in the AHL. I think they both have evolved. It does sound like Joe Sacco is out. I think Mitch Love at 40, to me, is the more intriguing option. Never been there. 40, maybe can relate to some of the players. The only thing about Marco Sturm is former player, mid-40s, was an assistant on a staff in LA that really learned defense, became a head coach in the minors and had 3 great successful seasons, did a ton, and it was a Team Germany that he was with. So, I mean, like, this Marco Sturm deserves a job in the NHL. Is it here in Boston? I'm fascinated by it. And in a way, you mentioned retread. I kind of like this. I have a bias against Marco Sturm because of the Joe Thornton trade. I'm sure anyone who bleeds black and gold will say the same thing. Anybody else?
You don't remember that Winter Classic though, Joe? He scored the game-winning goal.
Was that the first one he scored it?
I think so. Overtime.
So here we go. Love is in the air, or the Sturm count.
Can I give you why I think Bruins fans, if they start to read about Mitch Love, are going to love him? Have you read anything about this guy?
No.
Mitch Love played the role of both a pest and an enforcer, as well as being an experienced fighter.
He was in the. He did play in the league. I don't recall him.
WHL.
Oh, okay, all right.
Love ranks 31st in all-time penalty minutes among the WHL players with 901, and no player in the league since has surpassed his total.
So he's like the Billy Jeffy of coaches.
He's more like Craig Berube maybe.
Okay, keep going. All right. Go ahead.
Let's see. He once led the league with 327 penalty minutes in 40 fights.
Oh, so he's a tough guy.
Long-standing team record for single-season penalty minutes. Love is regarded as one of the greatest silver tips, Bronco silver tips of all time. He's the only one to ever have his number retired. And he played in the AHL. He had 34 fights during the 2008-2009 season, more than any other professional hockey player in the world that year. So I'm not going to call the guy a goon. I don't know anything about him, but he's an enforcer. He's a tough guy enforcer. So now we're going to go back to like packing in the defense, It will make Swayman look good because we'll play a structured system in front of him, and then we'll score maybe 2 or 3 goals a game.
I was just about to say, this again, I used to play NHL 94 was like one of my favorite games of all time.
Also, I should say on Mitch Love here, you played for the Lowell Lock Monsters at one point.
I wonder if Johnston knows him. Playing video games my whole life, Skaz, I remember guys from along the way, right? Like I was Bob Beers one year in one of my games, but there are fighters. I remember guys, like you can like rate fighting, all that stuff. There are guys that are now coaches in the league that I remembered as like pure fighters. I think Paul Maurice was one, right? From, was that Carolina? We know about Gallant already. Rick Tocchet.
Well, how about Craig Berube? Guy just beat you for a Stanley Cup.
I feel like guys like that have a great eye for the game because they know weaknesses. I don't know. Mitch Love to me is like the lottery ticket. And what I mean by it is you could hit a home run. I'm talking minor leagues, new help, like build a new brand. Probably going to have to be tough, right? Because that's the mindset. Where Sturm, I think, might it's more like, in his case, he might need a little bit of turnkey situation. Everything's good to go in the room. You just kind of need a guy who knows the game in there. So I'm going to use the word turnkey. I think Sturm's better for a team that has a good roster, where Love might be the better project. I know we ran late there, and I apologize.
I know, and the guy I wanted, Misha Donskov, looks like the head coach in Dallas may have kind of burned some bridges in his end-of-season press conference, so I wonder if he's going to stick around to get promoted there when Peter DeBoer maybe shown the door.
A friend of mine said he saw Joe Sacco out and about, and heard he's out of the running. Not from my guy.
No. I think that's I think Majori had that in headlines earlier.
Reported. My guy didn't tell me that.
Joe Murray says.
Joe Murray's friend. My guy told you. I said Joe Sacco today in Medford. Kid. All right. We have Dave on the line, but we gotta go to break. We're gonna do a headline, and then we gotta get to the musings because you want to freak out. I'll tell you something that happened. Skaz is ready. He's ready for this one.
All I want to say is it's happened again.
It's happened again. We'll do it next in Musings 98.5 The Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, it's Maz with a message from our sponsor, BetterHelp. Therapy can bring out a whole new you, and BetterHelp makes it easy to match with a licensed therapist. Get 10% off your first month of online therapy at BetterHelp, HELP.com/Maz.
Rebel Garage Solutions is your and my one-stop shop for complete garage transformations, from garage door installation and repairs to epoxy flooring to smart
want a random take? Murray's got all sorts on stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
Stories that come across every once in a while. The reason why this one personally is close to me is because, if you've ever lost anybody in your life, like by death, you got to go through the services, right? Got to, maybe there's a wake first, and then there's a funeral. And where I come from, you have to pay for those things. You gotta pay people to someone's got to pick up the body, right? Someone's got to get out all the guts, take care of business, and you have to pay those people. And what we have found out over the last couple of years is there are some people that aren't doing their jobs. Now, we did some investigative work on this. Most of the incidents that have happened are not in the United States. So in a way, I want to feel like that's a good thing for us, guys. Get in there, do the autopsy, and bomb. So what happened was, I believe this was, in the first story was India. There was a woman who died. Come to find out at the wake, the woman was knocking on the casket. And to my anger and trigger, which definitely got triggered here, can you please make sure that they're dead? Now, the first time it happened, I was freaking out. Because I can only imagine walking up to a casket of someone I loved and see them knocking and still alive. Now, again, I would freak out, is what I think I said. How the hell is a person put in a casket and still alive? How? This is just the first. Was this the first incident, or are these like multiple over time?
This is the big one. This is, I think, the one that was a year or two ago. Yes.
Okay, because what happened was it happened again, and I freaked out again because it's how does it happen? They're dead. Okay, I'm sorry, they're dead. I'm sorry you're dead. Now, when they're dead, you have the right to open up their body and take out all their organs and just get all the farts out and the blood and the guts. And I'm being serious here. We can all laugh about farts, I know. But, like, dead bodies do fart. I'm not lying. Just take out everything. Make sure they're dead. Get them all out. Dude, I would freak out. Did you hear me say that? I would freak out. But it's just take out all their body parts so you know they're dead. Right? Jake, that doesn't seem hard, right? Just when you go in there, someone's dead. You're told they're dead. There's a nice little ticket on their toe, and it says their name and that they're dead. Now, I don't know the cause of death. Okay, I'm not getting into that stuff. But don't you think if you are that person, you just take out all their body parts, right?
It seems like that would be the simple solution. Would just be
because they'd be
dead,
dead
or they're alive.
Because they can't live because of their body parts, right?
You can tell if something's dead or alive. I mean, seriously,
Can you?
Yeah, absolutely. You never seen like roadkill on the side of the road or something dying. You're like, oh yeah, that thing's dead.
Yeah, but
like I know for a fact that's dead. But you can tell if a human's alive or not. Not from first-hand experience, but you totally can tell.
Whoa, Jake. Whoa.
Here's the deal. I don't think you can just consider them dead.
Well, is it with all the modern medicine? Don't we have stuff you can put on?
You
like
said
the O2 pulse.
You said something on the side of the road. You go outside, put the roadkill in your car. You get back to the place because you want dinner. Right? Can you eat dead?
No, that's highly illegal.
Okay, never
Very
mind.
Illegal.
Anyways, I don't know anything. I'm a city kid. I don't know anything.
It's Tommy Boy all over again. They got the deer in the back seat.
Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. It's the Tommy Boy deer in the back seat. You find out they're alive. Exactly. Thank you, Skaz. Great
I'm pretty
analogy.
sure if you hit a deer and like there's people come over and take it and harvest
He's missing
it,
the
but
point.
you can't take it.
You got to put it on a table and make sure it's dead. Right?
Yes.
And if it's dead, you can open up the guts.
If they allow that. I mean, sometimes there are religions that are against that.
Is it? Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are certain religions where you can't.
So we haven't.
Or if they're not a donor, like when you do your license, right, and you put down that you're a donor, then if you say no to that, they can't harvest your organs.
Wait a second. So just hang out. Maybe I don't know. I'm ignorant. I don't know. When someone dies, don't they take everything out and you become like a stuffed animal, kind of?
I could be wrong about this, but I don't think so. I think it depends on if you signed up for it when you were alive.
I don't need Undertaker's calling.
I think Jake's right. I think it's if you're an elderly person, I don't know if your organs are worth harvesting. No offense to the elderly, but that's just a guess.
I feel like Brokerage Babe would know this.
I think it depends if you have the heart on your license. Did you sign up to be an organ donor?
I think I have.
I am, yes.
Yeah, if you have a little heart on your license,
listen,
you have it.
If I die, cut me open.
Make sure. No second guessing, please.
Okay. So is there any more clips that you could play? Hey, Jake, my point is, when someone's dead, make sure they're dead.
I agree with that. That's smart. It's a good thing to do.
Agree? You agree?
It's a good courtesy thing.
Can we agree that when they die, we hope that I don't want them to die. Nobody wants them to die. My point is, I don't want them to be alive when I'm mourning their death. Does that make sense? Would you be more freaked out if they're alive?
I'd be horrified at that.
Yeah. Thank you. So we want them dead. We all agree we want them dead?
Well, I mean, you want them alive.
I want them alive, but do you want them...
If they're dead, please be dead.
Oh,
if you're going to a funeral, you want the person to be dead. You don't want to get there and they're up and around having a good time.
Can you tell my outrage right now?
We haven't even gotten to the story yet, Joe.
Okay. So anyways, we found at least 3 now. This is the 4th let's read it. It's from the Daily Mail.
Very reputable.
Headline, dead woman, 88,
Daily Mail.
wakes up inside coffin after coroner's blunder.
You know what I like about this one, though? Immediately placing blame. A lot of the other ones we've read, it's all, this one, immediate blame on the coroner.
Right, from the title.
Yes.
Like I said, sometimes we just need to read the title, and the story doesn't matter. But
Daily Mail does not screw around here. They're getting right to the meat of it.
An 88-year-old woman was nearly buried alive after she woke up while her presumed dead body was being prepared by funeral workers. The elderly woman had appeared unresponsive after her partner could not wake her one morning at their home. Fearing the worst, he called emergency services, who rushed to help the distressed pensioner, but a coroner declared her dead. But funeral workers realized while they were working on her body that the woman was in fact still alive. Various reports claim that the pensioner suddenly opened her eyes as she was placed in the out. I don't even want to read the rest of this.
Why is he opening
I'm envisioning
her
this
eyes?
in my eye. I'm envisioning this now in my head. Imagine, like, when I die, can you bury me in this suit from Mr. Sid, please?
Well, some people have that wish.
Yes. Well, what if you're doing it to me and I'm awake? You addressing me. You.
I hope.
And all of a sudden, I Undertaker alive. I just Undertaker, and I'm looking around. You freak out. Can we make sure they're dead? This is all I'm asking for. We pay for this.
A lot of money, too.
We pay to make sure you're dead. Like, this can't keep happening. It can't keep happening. This is 4 now. We can't have a 5th. I can't survive a 5th. I can't do this again, Skaz. These people. Now, granted, the family didn't have to see this. The family didn't have to see this because the previous 3, they did. This one, it's almost better the workers found out. Or was it? Various reports claim she opened her eyes when she was placed in the coffin, while others have suggested the workers noticed she was breathing. Once it was established she was alive, the pensioner was then taken to the hospital where she was reportedly doing well.
Doing great. It's just almost buried alive, but I'm doing fine.
In a coffin! Do you see why I'm freaking out about this? This can't happen. I'm sorry. This is life. Life, death, real. Real.
There's a t-shirt.
Local police launched an investigation into how the woman could slip through still alive. Take out all their guts. The coroner is being suspected of failing to offer aid. Oh, here we go. Oh, maybe we need to look into this a little bit, Skiz. The company that the coroner belonged to has apologized and insisted there will be consequences. Great. The ambulance spokesperson, our operations center received a call in the morning hours during which operator proceeded in accordance with the valid recommendations of the professional society and the methodology for situations related to the death of a patient. Following the procedure, the entire incident was handed over to the coroner. Oh, they threw him right under the bus, huh? The coroner's going down.
Right under the casket, Joe.
Yep. After funeral workers spotted the woman was breathing, the operations center immediately dispatched emergency medicals. I'd freak out. The woman's basic life functions were
I
ensured.
was trying to find it. I think this is where Saved by the Bell came from.
What?
The safety.
Yeah, the saying. Yeah. Yeah, because they what they used to do back in like Ireland, was it? Yeah, it's true. Did he just say that on the air or off the air?
That was on the
air.
No.
My red light was off, and
No,
I'm
no.
off on my board.
Jake, you're right. That's where the term "Saved by the Bell" came from.
You're right.
I was looking at it.
They used to put bells on people to see if they were dead, and if they rung, they weren't dead yet.
Yeah.
At least they used bells.
See, that was always confusing though, because could you imagine walking through a grave site and hearing that? That would scare the living crap out of you. But not to mention too,
yes,
that nobody thought.
Yes, I can.
Nobody thought that it could just maybe someone bumped it. The wind happened.
Jake, slice them open, baby. Rip them out.
Rip them open, man. Rip them like the cards at Card Vault.
just rip them. You're
makes
right. Rip them like the cards at Card Vault.
This
I
makes
like
me
that.
think of like Coffin Flop from I Think You Should Leave too, where they're just the coffins are not exactly up to code.
I saw that episode. Listen. I know we're doing a bit here on the radio, but this can't happen. This can't. And please don't think I'm being like insensitive. If I find out you're dead, I really would like it if I could mourn you and not be afraid that you would open your eyes.
Now, there's no casket involved and no death involved in this story, but my grandfather lived in Hull for a number of years at the end of his life, and he was a very active man. He had Parkinson's for 20 plus years, but he would always go for walks. But he was an old guy. If he got tired, he was going to sleep.
Wherever, probably.
Wherever he was. And so one day he was walking all around, probably too far from where he should have been.
Hanging near the carousel and the dream machine.
Got tired and took a nap in someone's front yard. Just right on the grass, found a nice patch, went down. The nice family there went out to wake him. Couldn't wake him up. They called 911. He woke up as they were putting him in the ambulance and was just like, "Can I please walk home?" And that was, 15, 20. I remember them telling me, I remember them being like pissed at him, actually, like upset that he was out walking that far and decided to fall asleep.
With a condition.
No, yeah, but
they were upset with him.
You were never stopping him from doing anything. So, yeah. Yeah, you can't.
I don't like that story either.
You only live once.
Exactly.
Mad at him?
They were like, you should take care, don't go so far from home.
Hey, buddy, you think he just wanted to do that? Do you think he can control when he can just fall asleep? Idiot, don't say that. They pay them. We pay them to do their jobs. Don't tell people how to live. Oh, now I'm all pissed off.
Did you know there's actually a term for this? Tapophobia. It's the fear of being buried alive. So you tapophobia?
Out. No, I don't have a fear of it. I've watched, what was that Uma Thurman movie there? She got buried alive. Kill Bill. Thank you. Don't know who said that. It might have been my brain.
I think it was.
One more on this one, guy. We're late, but this has been really this. I can't deal with this, guys. We pay for this stuff. Like people die and have this all ready to go, so the people who are like mourning don't have to deal with it. Like you pay for this stuff. This is why I'm pissed. Like I don't want anyone to have to suffer. This is like really. This is real. In 2022, another man woke up in a coffin, but managed to smash his way out after he was offered. What the? Wait a second. We might need to break on this one. The man was offered as a sacrifice to Mother Earth.
Yeah, so this one I didn't really want to. I didn't want to send you the full thing because it was too much for me to read, Joe. I wasn't sure how you were going to take it.
I'm just going to call this man Hugo. Is that okay?
Fine.
Hugo was 30 years old. He had passed out while drinking at the opening of the Mother Earth Festival in Bolivia, when he found himself 50 miles away inside a casket. The Mother Earth Festival sees people giving thanks to the goddess of earth and fertility, where they give offerings, also known as a sulu. Bolivians believe the goddess opens her mouth for offerings in August, and many will give anything from live animals to... Okay. Hugo believes that the other partygoers had buried him alive as a sacrifice to Mother Earth. So this guy was buried alive. But he said he was being sacrificed. He's not wrong. Could he have been? And then he got too far away?
This one was too much for me.
We need to.
There's a lot going on.
I need more. So we're gonna leave it on that. But this is my recommendation. The United States has been great. Okay? Keep doing your thing, Undertakers.
Let's not get carried away, Joe.
Shout out to everyone that has to do this in the United States. At least nothing's been reported that we have yet, okay? And I want to keep it that way.
I have a friend who's kind of went to school for a funeral directory or whatever it is, yeah.
I also have a friend who works in a funeral parlor. She has to go do runs and pick up bodies at Logan if they're coming in.
Did you guys ever watch the movie My Girl?
Is that the one where he needs his glasses?
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that.
The girl
he can't see without his glasses.
The father was Dan Aykroyd, who was an undertaker, and they all lived in the funeral home. True story.
I mean, it's not too long ago that the funerals used to take place at people's homes, in the living room. The casket would just be in there.
Oh, I know.
Out.
But guess what?
Out on that.
Totally out on that.
They paid to get all the guts out. No one was waking up. In the movie Bronx Tale, when he sees Sonny, and he always says, the working man is not a sucker. Man, imagine if Sonny woke up. I'd be out. Sorry. All right. That's it. The story has bothered me. I'm scared. I don't want to see anyone come alive. No.
We should bookmark. It is June 2nd, Joe. When is the next time we will, unfortunately,
an over-under
come across one of these stories?
I would say over-under 11/31/25.
Okay.
Are you going to take the over or the under?
Under.
I'm going under.
Yeah.
Now people are being sacrificed to Salulu? The mother of earth? Infertility? We haven't even Googled that yet. It happened again. Again! We got to go to break. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
Maz here from Window Nation. Their semi-annual sale includes 4 free windows with a purchase of 4, a free entry door, and no money down, no interest, no payments until 2027. But you have to hurry, the sale ends soon. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Gambling can be addictive, just like alcohol and other drugs. And like with other addictions, help for yourself or a loved one is out there. Call the Massachusetts Problem Gambling Helpline at 800-327-5050.
Set yourself up for success. Their locally owned Benjamin Moore store proudly serves the New England area with more than just paint. They're here to support you and help you find everything you need to bring your projects to life. From expert advice to premium products, they'll help you every step of the way. Enjoy exceptional service and explore a selection of beautiful paint colors designed for lasting results. Visit Home Decor Group today and experience the difference that Benjamin Moore's quality products and personalized guidance can make. Don't miss your chance to meet Bruins legend and Hockey Hall of Famer Cam Neely. Catch him live at Apex Entertainment in Marlborough on June 4th starting at 7 p.m. for an exclusive autograph signing. Head to SureShotPromotions.com for more details.
Hey, it's Zoe here, and if you're tired of that cracked, ugly garage floor, Revel Garage Solutions transforms it with their proven proprietary coating system, delivering beautiful, durable, and easy-to-clean epoxy flooring. Call now or go online for free consultation at rebelgarage.com. Revel Garage Solutions, your garage transformed.
Are you dealing with foot, knee, hip, or back pain? Well, it sounds like you could use a spring in your step. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I've got just the thing to help you spring forward into comfort. Good Feet's unique patented 3-step arch support system is designed to reduce pressure on your joints to keep you feeling energized all day long, even when you're running on an hour's less sleep. With less pressure on your joints, you'll also experience less
plus 500 to win the series. I think they have a puncher's chance in this series. I think I've seen Siakam the whole playoffs beat the bigs down the floor. I don't know if he can do that with Holmgren, but he can definitely do that with Hardenstein.
Hey, David,
Hardenstein,
what's the line for over 5.5 games?
I don't know.
So here's my take real quick on this. if you want my betting analyst opinion, I think the line was minus 700 to start and just about 550. So a lot of money came in on the Pacers because of the recency bias and such a high number. So now it's somewhat down under 500, right? So that's what they want. Like the opening number was to kind of bet the money down. Now you're getting money on both sides. I think because it was so high to open, I always look at opening lines. I think the odds makers think the Thunder roll and win the series. But I do think that it's a bait line. You said it looks good, it's juicy. I do too. I think, though, the better bet might be to go over 5.5 games because if the Pacers do win the series, I think it's going to have to be in 6 or 7.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it now. So it says over 5.5 plus 110, which is not that much.
Boom. And that's plus money. If anything else, you'd have to get. So that would be my bet. And I only say that because when we make bets, right, we fall for the bait, right? It looks good. It's like no different than going fishing, right? Bait's out there, you catch them.
Plus 500, though. When was the last plus 500? It's been a long time.
Well, I looked this up the other night. The Bucks were underdogs to win. Who else were? Oh, well, the Mavs were probably the biggest underdog when they beat the Heat years ago. So it's 4 and change, high 4s right now. My betting analysis is that 500 might be a pipe dream, but I would go over 5.5 games.
Yeah. I think I just think also that with SGA, I mean, like I heard the guys in the 2:00 show talking about it, just like he's really good. I would say MVP, but I mean, if he scores 35 points and you hold that guy Williams to under 25 points, 4 games, I mean, that's doable, man. I mean, and I think that
David, I don't want to take you off your bet. If you're going to bet the 500, just don't. I would just recommend not a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you 10 for 50, 100 for 500, like whatever,
Yeah. No, 100%.
But I just.
What do you think of that? What do you think of Turner though? Turner against.
I think Turner and Siakam
against Holmgren. You know.
I think Holmgren would probably be the guy I would take to have the most rebounds. But I think if the Pacers win the series, it's because of their bigs and Aaron Nesmith defending SGA.
I think they're going to swap. I think Carlisle's going to put more than one guy on SGA. Different looks. Maybe double team with Siakam and take him to the baseline if possible, you know? So.
All right, David. Appreciate you, buddy. Wow, I was just giving betting analysis.
One note I should add on our last segment there, Joe. That story was sent to me by, if you had one guess.
The Jeremy Conley.
Of course. Who else? But the Jeremy Conley.
Was he listening?
No. He sent me that before the show and said, I got something for Joe tonight, basically. I know what happened last time he saw one of these stories. So thank you to Jeremy Conley.
Jeremy's still working for the show. He can't put it away.
Yes, he's the best.
Just can't put it down. He sees it, and he's just like, we should just throw him in slack.
If he sees a Joe Show story, he's very kind to send it our way.
Well, what I like about it is he doesn't tell me.
Yes, he's very good at that.
That's kind of like the best part. Ooh, I got something for you for Joe later. And it's like, everyone's like, yeah. Man, I just want to say this out loud because right now in this state, they're going away from a lot of sports betting. It's not that they're going away from it. It's the fact that they're chasing the money now because it's becoming legal in Texas and other states. But, like, I love doing betting analysis. I would love to do more of it. So I like to do it on this show, but I do think the best bet for that series is over 5.5 games. I think I like the Pacers. I do. Honestly, if I had to make just a pick, I like the Pacers. I think the number is a bait line, so I don't want to touch it. But I do think 6 games over 5.5 is the right bet.
Yeah, for me, I think you're going to learn a lot. Obviously, you're going to learn a lot in games 1 and 2, but the matchup I'm most interested in, he brought up Turner and Holmgren and Siakam and Holmgren. I think it's Nembhard. I think it's Nembhard on SGA. I'm sure you'll see other looks thrown at him as well, but Nembhard was not the difference maker, but he was a pivotal piece in that series defensively, all over Brunson, relentless. And Brunson and SGA aren't similar players. SGA is obviously bigger. I would say he's faster, stronger, but the way they move, they're herky-jerky, try and draw fouls, slasher cutters kind of move. Nembhard he's you're never ready for a matchup with SGA, but I think he's as prepared as a guy could be going into the finals.
So that's what scares me. They're great. I don't like last year. The Celtics were a great all-time team. I think the Thunder are a great all-time team. Now we talked about this the other night, Skaz, like the old Thunder versus this Thunder. Statistically, this one's better. Chet's gonna have to be the difference. He's a big.
I think J-Dub is gonna have to be really good too, because he's been a roller coaster ride at times.
Liv Chet said that same thing. He thinks the Thunder are gonna roll, and that's why the line's high and all that. And I agree. I think the Pacers, legitimately, if they can take game one, they can win the series. They gotta get it back to Indy. They gotta get their games at Indy. They play great. And they're great on the road, believe it or not, the Pacers. They're really good. Coaching. Daigneault versus Carlisle, it's a small market final, but there's a lot of good storylines.
Yeah, I don't get the people that are like, this is like the NBA just signed a new TV deal last year for billions of dollars. Like, do you care if people watch? Like, I don't care if it's the most watched. Like, that means nothing to me. I'm an NBA fan, a basketball fan. These are the two best teams in the league. The way the Pacers play basketball is, maybe the most appealing basketball to watch over the last, couple years. And OKC's the best team in the world right now. So I don't get the whole it's bad for the NBA. Like, are they not going to get that TV money they just signed the contract for the next 10 years? Like, I'm not worried about the NBA's pockets. Like, they'll be fine. I don't care if, some people aren't going to watch because of the matchup. I think that's very overblown, that whole thing.
I think, maybe we'll do it tomorrow night. I don't like the streaming. And
that's next year.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it because, real quick on that one, I watched TNT. I watched the end of the broadcast. I don't know if maybe I watched it because it was the last one. All I can tell you, it was on. It was left on my television. When it ended, it went right into wrestling. So all I'm saying is there's a draw to network television, especially sports. TBS growing up with the Braves, huge. We can get into more of this tomorrow night. We're going to be able to watch this on 5, right? Every night? Channel 5, right? Every night? Bing, bang, boom. I have no problem with that. All right. We'll get to the headline here. I'm Joe Murray, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Essential Sports Hub headline. Presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Red Sox lost 7-6 tonight to the Anaheim Angels. They gave up 6 runs in the first inning. That was the difference. So another start where Richard Fitz did not make it past got out of the first inning. That was it. 22nd time this year, a Red Sox starter has not gone to the 5th, and Kenley Jansen shut the door for L.A. Austin Ainge off to Utah, leaving the Celtics. Of course, the NBA Finals will be on Thursday night. The Stanley Cup Finals will be on Wednesday night. Headlines, they are brought to you by Kesha's Law. Kesha's Law, they specialize in helping those who have been injured, not only from a one-time incident, but the lifetime of hard work and labor. Does it sound like you? Visit KeshasLaw.com. I'm Joe Murray.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I gotta tell you about Astound. Their fiber-powered 1 gig internet is a game changer. All for $60 a month. And for a short time, get
So what else? What do you guys want to do? I mean, OTAs were good today. Patriots are out there. I mean, I don't want to get excited about OTAs right now. And again, I will get on them if they don't look good because of their offense. So if you hear me questioning the rocky starts and the bumpy practices, I'm not going to blame Drake May. I'm going to blame Josh McDaniels. Is it okay if I put the Josh McDaniels thing in a better light here a little bit? I know we had our Joe Murray research team doing some research today that I did not know before. But, Skaz, I'm sure you know the story of Josh McDaniels, right? Played a little bit of college quarterback. I believe his dad was a big-time coach before. When did he go to Michigan State? Oh, no, he went to John Carroll. Sorry. He was a graduate assistant at Michigan State, went to the Patriots as a personal assistant. Then he was a defensive assistant, then quarterbacks coach, and then was named offensive coordinator 06 through 08. Pretty good, right? Then he became the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Do people understand what happened with him, with the Broncos? He replaced Mike Shanahan. He signed a 4-year, $8 million contract. His tenure was involved in controversy. Remember the alleged trade offer involving Jay Cutler for Matt Castle? Remember that one? That didn't work out. Then a conference call involved McDaniels and team owner Pat Bowlen and Cutler, which they did not resolve their issues. Cutler said he did not trust McDaniels, and then the organization had to trade him. Broncos traded him and a 5th-round pick to the Bears for Kyle Orton. The Broncos started their first season under McDaniels with 6 straight wins, including an overtime victory over the Patriots. I remember because I went to the Red Sox game that day, and they lost, and their season ended. In the last game of the season, McDaniels and the Broncos still had a potential playoff berth, but lost to the Chiefs. Denver's 3rd straight home loss to a division opponent. It left the Broncos with an 8-8 season record. Controversy surrounded McDaniels for his benching of Pro Bowl wide receiver Brandon Marshall for the game. Marshall would then be traded to the Dolphins in the offseason. His second season ended with a 3-9 record, lost to the Chiefs, was fired by the Broncos the next day. There was a videotape scandal. The NFL investigator was reported that Steve Scarnecchia, the team's director of video operations, hired by McDaniels, videotaped a 49ers walkthrough practice. That happened in Wembley Stadium.
Sounds familiar.
Did you hear the name?
It sounds even more familiar.
Steve Scarnecchia. The same day, the NFL fined the Broncos $50,000 for McDaniels' actions. Scarnecchia was fired as a result of the incident. He said, "I acted alone. I knew it was wrong."
That's a fall guy.
Pretty sure the Patriots did the same approach. I acted alone, Kraft Media Group.
Mm-hmm.
All kind of rings a bell, right?
Oh, dude, if they open that one up, that'd be a great 30 for 30. Because here's the deal. Just so you know, everybody was doing it. But they were told that day not to. And the way that they went about it was wearing, yeah, exactly, NBC. They camouflaged bad. They owned it. They got fined, right? They lost a draft pick. They paid the price. You want to play bad games, you got to get bad prizes. I can put that one on a shirt if you'd like as well. Should we continue here?
Please.
Scarnecchia later presented McDaniels with a 6-minute video, but McDaniels declined to view it and was not shown to any other Bronco member. Therefore, the NFL determined the Broncos had not gained a competitive advantage. An anonymous source alerted the Broncos in November 8th, who conducted an internal investigation before alerting the NFL. The NFL security began an investigation. Bad. Also, if I recall, it's not on this Wikipedia report, but Josh McDaniels circumvented the salary cap. Is that the right word? He manipulated the salary cap? Would sign guys and then not put them on it was a signing bonus thing, right? You know the story?
I believe so. I mean, does it sound familiar?
Well, it sounds very familiar to me.
I think the Patriots do that. Or maybe not to the extent that McDaniels did in Denver. I mean, certainly the Patriots have never been fined for it by the NFL or, gotten rules against them for it. But we sit here and talk about all the time. The Patriots screw around with the signing bonuses.
McDaniels involved in a salary cap violation. The team was found to have circumvented the salary cap by deferring payments to players outside of the official team's salary, which is a violation. Which, remember how we used to always talk about just give Brady a deal and then, stock in the team or whatever? You couldn't do that. That would be violating the salary cap. McDaniels was fined $50,000 for failing to report the transgression. He was then fired, of course, and the videotape scandal. So he had what? Think about this. I know we only have a couple of minutes to go here, but this guy backed out on the Colts, right? Went to the Raiders. Everybody hated him. He's back. He did win. I missed a little bunch there. He won championships with Tom Brady. I missed that. I left that out. Should we add that or not add that? Because he is highly decorated.
Yeah, I mean, so is every other assistant coach that was ever around Tom Brady. Josh is a very good offensive coordinator when he has Tom Brady as his quarterback.
This is a guy now with Drake May and Mike Vrabel. All right, Jake, thank you. Luke, thank you. Skaz, great job. We're back here tomorrow night. And, of course, this hour of the sports is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NoGoodOilChange.com to save 50% off an extra oil change of Valvoline Instant Oil Change, the official oil change of busy people. I'm out!
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5 The Sports Hub.